we're just rattling off great stretches in golf, and I want people that are listening and watching on YouTube to comment your favorite stretches. Also respond to us on X and Instagram as well, but definitely on YouTube. I want to read through the comments on your best stretches of golf.
The Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all SUV. From your daily drives, weekend trips, and last-minute tee times. We got a lovely show today. We've got closest to the pin that comes towards the middle of the show. We've got a great discussion, an organic discussion. Shout out, I know everybody in the business loves that organic stuff, of the top stretches of golf holes on golf courses in the world. We sort of rank, we sort of go through, we sort of bring to the conversation our choices for the best stretches. I think we kind of, what do we agree on? It's got to be at least 3 holes for it to count.
I think a stretch is 3 holes. I think, yeah, it's got to be 3 plus. Okay. Some have more than 3, like in a row. Right off the top, it's like Pebble. You can just go the whole entire back 9. But yeah, I think 3 is like the minimum.
So we have an awesome discussion about that. It really starts with TPC Sawgrass, which we got a great video. These guys were just down there playing. Emotional video, cool video about one of the more iconic courses and stretches of golf. So we get into an awesome discussion about that. We talk more about USA Hockey, State of the Union, all of it. There's a lot of that going on, especially in the Barstool world, related to the entire USA Hockey and the gold medal. And again, the State of the Union, politics at the highest level, all of it. We come through that. A little bit more talk about Ryan Miller and some goaltending techniques, which I don't think people saw coming, but actually a pretty fascinating discussion. So yeah, quite a bit going on, and it's all brought to you again by Chevy and that Equinox SUV, which is your do-it-all SUV. The bold, athletic, and confident style of the Equinox looks just as good at the course as it does off the map with active trim. Equinox is at home on dirt and gravel, and if you stick around for the entire thing, not only will you get closest to the pin, but you'll get the tease of something big. So this is a tease of something big.
Yeah, we've got a huge tease at the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that. I think it's a great show. We're kind of hitting our groove right now. There's a lot of things that are happening in golf, and it's only going to get better, as you'll see from the tease, and you'll see what's going on next week. I think that this little stretch of golf thing is going to spark a ton of debate. I think we're going to get a lot of responses. So shout out to Chevy for being a part of it, and especially now I look out, I see all that you said, like on dirt, gravel, whatever it may be. Like you see a bunch of snow out here. These Chevys are ripping around. There's no terrain that they can't handle. Chevy's been at this thing. We've been talking a lot about America and American products and American teams and American speeches, and there's no more American company than Chevy. Chevy's just been at the helm of this thing for over a century, and it's amazing to be partnered with such a big global brand as Chevy.
The Equinox has a big touchscreen as well. It's awesome. It's phenomenal. It puts all your music, maps, and tech front and center. Chevy Equinox, they bring this show to you. They've been a great partner of ours. Once again, Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. Wow. Still kind of just reeling from the entire thing this week with USA Hockey. Another huge thank you to Ryan Miller joining the show. We got a lot of great feedback from him hopping on. And that's another one where I fired him a text like, yeah, let's do 20, 30 minutes. And, he sat here for an hour, and I think we could have gone another hour. So a big thank you to him. If you missed last show, make sure you go check that out, especially the second half of the show. Ryan Miller, iconic American hockey goalie. Been a crazy week. We had the State of the Union last night when we're recording this. The USA Hockey team was all over the place. And it's usually that wouldn't be that, not necessarily crazy, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal. We've talked about it a bunch on the show, but things are just so politically charged now that everything seems like one of the craziest, wildest things of all time, when in reality, our United States men's and women's teams won the gold medal over Canada in overtime. Canada is hockey, has always been hockey, especially for the last 46 years, ever since the Soviets. And if you watch Miracle, if you watch the documentary, you know that the Soviets were so dominant because they were pretty much the only professional team allowed in the whole thing. They were one of the first teams ever, especially in hockey, to take it so unimaginably serious off ice, on ice. They were basically professional players for the Soviet Union, and they're going up against college kids. They dominated forever. Ever since then, it's been Canada, and it's been Canada for a really long time. They kind of invented the game. For us to come out in the women's and the men's and get the gold and walk away with that was really just unbelievable. Both games being as exciting as they were. The men's game now, the ratings have come in. It was the most viewed like morning sporting event basically in the history of the United States of America. I think 26 million viewers I saw when the game started at 8 a.m. Eastern time, I think is one time the game started. So kind of just amazing viewership. And then, the men were a little bit underdogs. It was close, but they were a little bit underdogs. They clearly got outplayed for a lot of the game. Connor Hellebuck standing on his head, just this awesome, awesome story. Frankie did such a good job talking about how just American it was, backs against the wall. And then they go the whole tour. They're down in Miami. They got diverted because of the snowstorms that you guys face. Then the Trump and the White House invite them to the State of the Union. They get brought down in the State of the Union. It's just been an incredible whirlwind. A lot of the controversy with Trump's phone call afterwards and the laughing and the connection with the Hughes family to both the women and the men's team. So it's been a lot with the U.S. men's hockey team winning ever since Sunday morning. It's been a lot, and it's always a lot right now in this country when it comes to anything related to that. But hard not to bring it up and continue to talk about it a little bit because it has just dominated storylines to the point where at the biggest speech every year in the United States of America, they were brought out there and paraded to the point where they were leading USA chants. It was announced that Connor Hellebuck's going to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom, where he's like one of 15 athletes to ever get that, which I think is much deserved. It's one of the craziest performances I've ever seen. But just still kind of reeling from the whole thing, still feeling a lot of pride for USA and USA hockey, and still just insanely proud of both our guys and our girls for getting those gold medals.
Yeah, it was it's been an American week, which I think we needed a little bit of this. I know that there's the other side of the American week, which is all the bickering and the back and forth, which is well deserved on both parts. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion on things, but at the end of the day, the hockey game and what it was is one of the most incredible things we'll ever watch. It is a shame that whatever ended up happening afterwards happened, just because like no negative connotation should be coming from these games for both the men and the women. It is a shame on all accounts. It's a shame that things were said. It's a shame that people are taking certain things certain way, and like Hughes's mom has to say all these things, and she has to be put into a place to have to like stand up for her sons and also stand up for the women's team, and just be like, it's all about the American like hockey team and that game and this country. That's like what it should be about. So a lot of people are at fault for that, and I'm not like blind to that. So, but at the end of the day, it was really cool to watch them get celebrated because they definitely deserve it. Both sides of the aisle were standing up for them, and I know some people like didn't go to the union address last night just because like the team was going to be there, which is just outrageous because there's so many other things going on in the world aside from a hockey game. But like it was really cool to see them get the recognition that they deserve. Those guys have battled, they played hard for their country, and they brought happiness to us, which is like all we're trying to get out of sports and entertainment. So like we have one life to live. We sit there in our living rooms and at our bars, and I'm with my dad and we're at Borelli's, and like we're just trying to get some happiness. Like there's not many things that bring you genuine happiness. So that's like what they brought us by winning a hockey game. And I'm glad that they got to go there. My guy Brock had to miss it. There's been a lot of people that have been messaging and tweeting and coming to conclusions as to why it was a scheduling thing. He was not making any sort of stance. Like they have a game in Utah. I know other guys had games the next day, but like he has 4 kids under 5 years old, and his wife was in Italy for 2.5 weeks. He's like the greatest dad of all time. And he would have loved to have that honor of like getting honored for winning the biggest game of his life. And he just like, he has other commitments. He has like commitments in his life. And same with Jake Gensel and Jake Ottinger, who we know from doing the scramble against too. Like those guys didn't get a chance to make it. They have like a lot of things going on. You know what I mean though? So like, yeah, if you are offended that he didn't go, like it's, like he had FOMO, like having to miss big things like that. I mean, Connor Hellebuck literally got like you said, the Presidential Medal of Freedom or whatever it was. Like, of course, that's a cool night to go to. So, but yeah, I just felt bad for him that he had to miss that. But the guy's he's just such a good guy. He's just committing to his schedule of what he has.
Yeah, no, it's been a whirlwind week for sure. And like I talked about in the last episode how we get so few moments of everyone coming together and everyone enjoying something. And Riggs mentioned how many people watched that game, and I'm sure a ton of people watched the women's game as well. And then I'd say we got about 8 minutes of unification and joy and American pride just across the board. And then the fucking bottom fell out. And it just reminded me that it's like, oh yeah, like that feeling of everyone coming together for a common cause and enjoying one thing is incredibly fleeting. And it's even more so in 2026, whatever you want to do. But like, it goes away really fast and it turns into something that I just don't want to pay attention to anymore. Like I was having fun enjoying these hockey teams and their success at the Olympics. And then it was just like, it's a fucking shit show. So after both teams won, I just sort of, and then once it all started to fall apart, I stopped paying attention to all of it. I just kind of put my phone to the side and was like, fuck, man, I can't pay attention to that. Because I agree, both teams deserve to be celebrated. I just can't anymore get involved with the bickering from everybody. We take a good thing and just turn it into the thing that we turn everything else into. And it's like, that's not fun.
Yeah, incredibly fair point. And, you know, I'm with you where I tried to sort of compartmentalize like my experience from the game and the euphoria afterwards. And I think Frankie made an incredible point about like, there's just certain moments that bring you happiness. Tiger Woods 2019 stands out for me as one where like, here is this man that is, by all accounts, like all of us, has had an incredibly flawed past at times. Yet when he's up there doing what he did, the comeback story, overcoming so many personal hardships, personal shortcomings, professional hardships, professional shortcomings, and then emerging as the best golfer on the planet for the biggest week of golf and delivering one of the most inspirational victories in the history of golf. It just brought me pure happiness and joy to the point where we weren't just celebrating it, we were thanking Tiger Woods. And when I see Tiger at these events, that whether we see him, you know, getting breakfast behind the scenes at TaylorMade Media Day or wherever we see him, or whether it used to be Joe LaCava slipping us a Tiger Woods golf ball or JT, like any environment that we would see him in, I would always kind of get this thankful feeling of towards Tiger when I would see him just being like, man, you delivered so much happiness to so many people and you sacrificed so much to that, to the point where you sacrificed being a normal human being to where like you weren't capable of being a normal human being because the sacrifice that you gave to deliver iconic moments that made me stand out of my chair and clap and be like, God damn, that's awesome. It makes me want to be better at whatever I do, whether it's accounting, whether it's podcasting, whether it's my relationships with other people. Like, you just make me want to be better because of what I witnessed. And that's the feeling that I got from both the women and the men. The women's game, by the way, was the most viewed women's hockey game to date at this point. I believe it peaked at over 7.7 million viewers. To compare that, like the Masters gets like 4 or 5 or 6 million
right.
A lot of years. I can't remember exactly what it peaked at with Rory, but I think it was similar to that. So insane viewership for the women too. But watching both those games, and then quite simply having the Olympics culminate with the men defeating the Canadian men, like that was the final moment of the entire Olympics. It had built up to that. That's why 26 million people just in the U.S. alone were watching it. So that moment shining as like kind of the moment was a product of a lot of things, but it was also the product of like, that was how the Olympics was set up, for it to finish that way, for it to finish with the last thing that happened at the Olympics was Hughes scoring that OT goal, was just pure awesomeness. It was so much happiness. It was so much national pride. It was so much of Ryan Whitney's monologue on like, that's the product of an entire country. That's not just one person, one kid out there shooting into, you know, beating Jordan Bennington. That is the product of everyone, that we are a nation together at some level. That's just what we are. Everybody contributes to the economy. Everybody contributes to the taxes. Everybody contributes to everything. And part of the product of that can be our military. It could be our diplomatic abilities. And in this instance, it was our fucking hockey team. And it was awesome. And it was like, that was who brought us this happiness. Mike Tirico's monologue at the end about how this is a country that loves sports and sports are able to unify us and bring us together. That was so unbelievably cool. All of it, seeing them get honored at the State of the Union last night on such a national stage, again, I thought was really, really cool. I thought Connor Hellebuck, like, so happy for him because, again, he's gotten a lot of shit. I've given him a lot of shit, and other fans like me have given a lot of shit. Wasn't a big game goalie in a lot of moments, despite being the best goalie probably in the world, and then had a performance that I think for the rest of time, like him and Jim Craig will be remembered as like one of the best goaltending performances you've ever seen. It's like 1980 Miracle on Ice, where Jim Craig stood on his head and made 1,000,000 saves against the Russians. And then Connor Hellebuck just almost single-handedly won the gold medal for the United States. If he just doesn't play anywhere close to the way that he played, there's no Miami trip, there's no State of the Union trip. Those guys are just back with their teams like the Canadians are, disappeared, and Canada's doing the whole thing, celebrating all over the place. So he was getting rewarded for that. I thought was so cool. On the politicization side, there's a couple things I'll say about that with the phone call and with the reaction. The first thing I'll say is I'm not a woman, so I would never try to put myself in the place of understanding what certain moments like that must feel like and how it does or doesn't upset you. I don't even think in a lot of cases that's a choice for a person. Like myself, I know Frankie gets emotional too. Myself, there's been instances where I've cried before, and then I've been brought on to podcasts. People are like, why were you crying? My answer is like, I don't know why I was crying. It wasn't like a conscious decision. I just cried at something. That's just kind of what happened. So I understand from a very logical standpoint that there's going to be reactions people have, that they just have those reactions. So if you see something and your reaction to that is just negative, it hurts you, it upsets you, whatever that might be, that absolutely sucks. And I, as someone who's not a woman, will never understand what that may or may not feel like in that moment. I also very much agree a lot with the belief that I don't think the reaction from a lot of players in that situation where the president of the United States calls in, it's not the same as sitting around a cafeteria when you do nothing and you come off like someone who's not defending a group by being silent is just as bad as being, you're complicit. I just don't think that environment's the same as when you're celebrating a gold medal in front of the entire world. The president of the United States calls in, you're on a phone call with dozens of other people in a room celebrating. That is almost no spot for anyone in the history of the world to be like, well, hold on a second, I don't agree with that joke. No one could be expected to do that situation. I totally understand with everybody who's upset. If you are upset about the joke, I get if you were upset about the reaction. I get all that and understand that there's elements of it I'll never understand because I'm not a woman, but I get how people could have that reaction, and there's no, in my opinion, ill will towards people. There is ill will towards people, I think, who didn't necessarily have that reaction, who were actually thrilled, didn't watch a second of the game, and are thrilled that there's something to be pissed off about and something to debate about. That part, I think, drives me crazy every day in American politics and in kind of the public conversation in our country and around the world, where people they just want to be upset about something, and they get excited, I think, when there's an opportunity to be upset about something. And that, to kind of the beginning of this whole conversation, detracts from all of it. And I think it's a hard exercise to do, but trying to just be like, the game was amazing, the team was amazing, and then let's also, if you want to get into the weeds on all the other stuff, totally you're right, this is America, great, but also if you could avoid it, that might be better for you, because people are going to bicker about all kinds of stuff, people are going to disagree about all kinds of stuff. But if you can really enjoy that moment and try to remember that moment for what it was, I think it could bring you a ton of happiness as an American, because what those guys and those girls did on both teams was amazing. And so that's sort of my take.
Yeah, hopefully the win is what lasts in history, and like all the controversy that followed it isn't something that's attached to it. Hopefully this is another one of those things that just like comes and goes, and it definitely sparks debate and controversy for the right reasons. And I said that off the top, like if you want to be mad at anyone, be mad at Trump for making the joke. Like it's not on the team necessarily for having him say that. And I feel bad for the guys at the end of the day, because they're put in a weird spot, and
yep.
they're it's just like natural reaction to just go with the flow in a situation like that. Like what you said, it's very unrealistic. And I hope the people that are so hell-bent on like trying to ruin this for the team can at least like rationally understand that it's impossible for someone to stand out there and be like, I don't think we should do that. I mean, someone did scream in the background, like 2 for 2. Like, there were guys that they probably hit their brains quicker than others, where they're like, well, that was kind of fucked up. Like if I was the girls team, I don't want to hear that. And I've been debating with my buddies about that, like where they're like, oh, it's just a joke. I was like, well, like if you were on the other side of that, you'd be like, well, that kind of sucks that he said that. Like, I don't want to go see that guy now. Like, it's crazy. Like, he literally said, like, we have to invite these guys, these girls. So it is a joke, and some people can take it and some people can't, and it's perfectly fine for people to be able to take it. It's just when you start to direct it in such a aggressive, negative way towards people that shouldn't be getting it, that's where it sucks, and it becomes this whole entire thing. So, there's places and people to be mad at, and I just think like we have to be able to see that this hockey team deserves to be celebrated. I think that should not be a controversial thing to say. If that is controversial to say, then like we really are fucked up as a country.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I'm with you.
Team should be celebrated. Like they won the game. That's what we do with sports teams.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. The joke sucked, and I think it was stupid. And there's a layer of meanness to that is just like is not necessary in a lot of respects. So I think we can all maybe agree that the Cash Patel videos were a little weird with him just going crazy. Those were wild, man. But I was, there's the FBI director.
I agree. And like, I get it's not crazy for public officials to like, and people are saying this for politicians to be at Olympic Games. He's also not a politician. He's the director of the FBI. That is an politically agnostic position that is supposed to be appointed and upheld independently of politics in the country. So to see like the director of the FBI there chugging beers and all that, I part of me, I like the just partying, celebrating the United States of America, and be proud of the country and one of the coolest achievements of all time. But I'm with you, Trent. It's a little bit weird, and like the FBI, that's like domestically here in the United States, just the biggest investigations and issues that and then to be over in Milan partying in the locker room I agree. I thought that was a little bit wild and just kind of weird as well.
And I didn't bring it up to make a stance. I was more laughing at like when the camera's panning around and you see the guys who were on the ice and scoring goals, and Hellebuck like had one of the performances of a lifetime, and the camera pans over and it's Cash Patel and he's just slamming a beer. You're like, that's the FBI director. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. So it was just the whole thing. I mean,
he's got to realize like you're a fan. Like, yeah, he's a fan, and anyone's allowed to do anything. But like, while you hold that position, you don't get to do a lot of things that like regular human beings get to. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of
part of it. Unfortunately,
he's kind of making the like argument that like I'm just a fan of the team. Of course, I was going to go to the game, and they invited me in the locker room. Of course, I'm going to go in there, which is all fair. Like if someone just invites you in, they want to celebrate with you. It is what it is. But like, whenever you hold certain positions, there's just like things that you don't get to do. It's just like, I mean, life's not fair sometimes. It's like you hold a position that like comes with some sort of territory. It comes with some sort of, way that you're supposed to behave. I mean, that's just like the way the world has always worked. That's honestly politics. It's hierarchy. It's being a leader. Like there's people that are CEOs of companies that like can't be seen at like the Christmas party drinking with the rest of the workers. They need to hold like a certain amount of authority and you know what I mean? That's just like the reality situation. Now there are a lot of people that like that he is a regular guy out there drinking beers, watching hockey. I mean, it's funny. He likes all of my Islander tweets. I'll see like a FBI director.
For real?
Dude, I'll tweet about like Casey Suzuki scoring at like 12 o'clock at night, and he likes it. Like, you can go back and look at his likes, I bet, and like it's a bunch of my Islander tweets. So I'm like, this guy actually does love the game of hockey. I don't know where his history with loving hockey. I don't know if it's the Islanders. I don't know if it's another team. He's always posting at Washington Capitals games. So like, you're allowed to be a sports fan, a regular guy. It's just everything that's going on in the world with everything that he's dealing with as well and not dealing with. It's just like, you got to be a little bit smarter than that. Dude, it's just impossible at this point. Like with how many, everything's on national news, everything's on Twitter, everything's on Instagram. You're not going to get away with anything. So like, I don't know. The more I talk about it, it's like no one's allowed to do anything anymore. So you might as well just like not take these positions. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking crazy. You can't, like once you take the position, you can't be a human anymore. And like he has to know that. He has to know that.
I just didn't expect to see him. I really didn't.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I agree with all of the sentiment there, where it is like, I get the regular guy stuff. I love as many regular guys. Unfortunately, the way that the world works, there are just things you got to kind of keep it tight. You got to tighten it up about. And I thought that was a little bit wild. All right. Moving on. Impossible not to talk about that stuff. It's been all over the place, and especially last night's State of the Union. We had to talk about it.
Especially at Barstool Sports.
Oh yeah, it's been heated and hard not to be glued into all the back and
I
forth.
actually
Which
thought the State of the Union was good last night too, regardless of where you stand. I thought it was like unifying. Like there was a lot of moments that obviously he's going to say things that some people disagree with or whatever, but even like you watch CNN or any of the sides, you watch Fox, they're going to suck him off. If you watch CNN, they're going to try and find things that he said wrong. But I think a lot of people agreed that like he used those medals and the gifting and all of the and the awarding of all of these veterans and all these incredible heroes to kind of like get people to stand up and remember like what this is all about. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of cool. It was long. We'll probably get to that later with the close to the pin, but I thought it was good. I felt patriotic watching it. I disagree with some things. I agree with some other things, but I thought there was a lot of times where I was like getting choked up, which when the president's speaking, you really just want to get like kind of moved and loving the country a little bit more.
I love the State of the Union. I don't know what it is with me. I've always
George
Washington's
the State of the Union gavel out there, dude. Like that's sick.
Yeah. And it's it is a lot of it's political theater, but like that's also what politics are in a lot of ways. It's just political theater. So I just enjoy it. I think that it's entertaining. It's a little bit less entertaining when all three of them are on the same side up there. Like when you used to have like Nancy Pelosi be up there like ripping up the speech. Like,
so good.
That would be all time. And again, flipped whenever the other way, whenever you had a Democratic president and you got a Republican behind there. And like, I just thought that part of it was always a really funny dynamic where you would have like the VP standing for all the moments. And then, you would have the House majority, like just not standing. And you would always get that dynamic right behind the president. Whereas this time they had to kind of show the left side of the aisle from the larger view in order to really see how truly awkward that is. Like half the room standing and clapping and cheering every 30 seconds. The other half of the room, not only sitting, but like a lot of times like yelling back that like, you're a fucking liar.
It's crazy.
Speaking. It's crazy.
Electric.
Man. It's absolutely crazy. It is electric.
Dude, I'm watching that West Wing show and there was a scene that I just watched of him like giving a freaking State of the Union. And I'm like watching them, his writers like write the speech for him and what they're going to put in there. So yeah, I'm just in the weeds with all of this stuff right now. I'm watching West Wing shows. I'm reading 776. I'm reading the Harry Truman book, which he was the first president to give a State of the Union on TV, I believe, what I had saw. So it was like the first one that was nationally televised. I could be wrong about that.
What year would that have been? Do you know what year that would have been?
Well, I'm not up to when he became president. I actually looked up the history of the State of the Union, and I saw that kind of come up in my Google AI. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to that part in the book. But I mean, I'm at like 1931 right now, and he's like he's a judge. So I mean,
just in the weeds.
You're getting there.
You're in there with Harry Truman. You're in the 30s with Harry Truman.
Harry Truman's about to be like a big deal in like a couple of chapters for sure.
Hell yeah.
It says 1947. It was Harry Truman, the first televised one.
I got 16 years to go, man. Damn, he becomes a senator.
Yeah, we just got a lot of history going on in the show.
We do, I think, which is honestly great. Before we get completely off the subject, I did want to mention something from the Ryan Miller interview where when he was talking about the Sidney Crosby golden goal, and he mentioned the RVH like position on goaltending.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Right.
I set myself up for something that didn't happen.
Right.
And there's nothing I could do with the technique I was using. Like, honestly, I would love to say I could jump in a time machine and be like, learn reverse VH and go back. But like, we weren't doing it heavily back then. And I would have just been like reversed into the post and been like, okay, let's see where he's going to go from here. I'm covered the ice. But it just wasn't something I was using in my game readily then. That was not something we really worked on for another couple of years, and then evolved into that new style that you see now.
I don't know, Frankie, if you know a ton about this. I don't know a ton about it, but I know a little bit that it exists. And I wish I would have asked a follow-up in that, but it was such like an iconic moment that he was talking about that I didn't really chime in and get more on it. But dude, that part of goaltending and that, we talk a lot about this show, just hearing anyone kind of talk about something that they're an expert in is incredibly entertaining for almost any subject matter in the world. Him mentioning that and talking about that is so interesting because trend. So like in goaltending for hockey, there was sort of like, there's been different trends over time. For a while, if you go back and watch like clips from the 1980 Miracle on Ice game, it was a lot of like stand-up goalie type stuff, to the point where like, you know, Jim Craig didn't even have like a full helmet on. He just had like a mask on the front of his face, because they didn't really go down that much. If they did, they would do like kick saves, even where they would go down with one leg and like kick at the puck with the other leg. They didn't do like the butterfly yet at all, which was, you know, like scientifically, physically proven that if you go down in this certain form, you'd cover more of the net and deflect pucks out to the side. So they started like enacting the butterfly, which you see all the time now. This like RVH position was essentially when guys come from behind the net and at weird angles, it's really hard for the goalie, because the goalie can't see behind himself. And so in order to like look behind you, right, if the puck gets rimmed behind the net, you don't know if another player from the other team is going to get the puck and then bring it back to the other side real quick, whatever. So guarding the posts of the net and also keeping an eye on like what's happening in your peripherals and behind the net, depending on where the puck goes, because it moves really quickly, is always really tricky. In that play, the puck was over in his right corner. It kind of got hit by the ref's skate, and it was a little bit of a broken play, ends up on Sid's stick, and then ends up between his legs and in the net instantly from like a very sharp angle. So what he was talking about there was after that moment, like later on after that goal, this RVH, which is reverse vertical horizontal kind of like technique in hockey goaltending, was really became advanced and improved upon, where the goalie dude like lays, the way I looked at, or the definition here is a modern goalie position used to seal the short side against low to high plays or jams. The goalie rests the post side knee / goaltending pad on the ice, locks the skate toe to the post, and keeps the chest up to cover the top corner. It is crucial for defending tight behind the net threat. So it's like this technique where they lay their like edge of their pad with the toe on the ice like that, and then also go up that, which is an insane position for a human being with like knees and stuff to do. And that, not only does that block a lot of, or all of like the net on the post from the most efficient standpoint, but it also allows them, which is what he was kind of talking about too, not just, if you notice when like pucks go across ice back door and goalies get over there so quickly and save it, it's not just because they're like fucking cats. There's also a very optimized way where they push off the post. So they're not just moving across the ice there. They're like pushing as hard as you can off of the post of the goal to get over there. So what he was talking about was like, in today's modern positioning, he thinks he wouldn't have had to do what he tried to do there, which is like poke check Sid, so that he didn't go to his backhand and go across the net and score, because with modern like techniques, he could have held the post, saved that puck that was shot on the ice, and then if Sid went to his backhand, he could have, from that position, pushed across and also matched his speed across the net, which he couldn't do at the time because they hadn't like evolved goaltending to that standpoint. Isn't that
incredible?
Crazy?
And I don't know if you can pull this up, Ryan, but the like goalies will practice that when they go out. It's like their warm up. They scratch up the ice a little bit, and they'll get it like a little bit more grippy. You'll see a guy go out to like a clean sheet of ice, and he'll do all of his kind of movements and make sure that that crease has a lot more grip on it. But like they'll do the side to side RVH or whatever it is, and you don't think anything of it as a fan. You're like, oh, that's just something that they do to stretch. But it's probably so technical and it's so essential to saving pucks from anything below the goal line that like they practice just the movement. Dude, being a goal like that, you'll see them do this. They'll go there, they'll do all their angles, and then like they'll get it's so perfect how technical these guys are.
Wow. And that's all happening in like a split second, man. That's all just happening so fast. I had a stupid thought, and I was not going to bring it up with Ryan Miller because he is like a decorated hockey player. But like when we're talking about 5-on-3 with USA Canada, and in every other 5-on-3 situation, it's like the other team of 5 is going to score. Would it statistically make sense potentially to just take the 3 guys who are on the ice and just have them drape around the goal? Just have them be standing around the goal at every angle so a puck can't get through.
just like all laying in front of the net. You're saying?
Not even laying, just like sort of covering. Everyone's standing in a position where So they're basically, the team with 5 is taking slap shots on you for however long you have to go, but you just cover every inch of the net with every body you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only problem with that is like there's literally no defense. So if you have 3 guys in the crease all stopping the net and the goalie, like they will just get. You have 5 guys that could just take their time and just like Cale Makar would just be standing in front of them, like looking for a hole, and he would blast it as hard as he can until like they cry.
Okay,
right. I would say that too. Like they could, in theory, they could skate down to like the top of the crease, which is 3 feet in front of the guys, and just rip slap shots at them until
they break their legs.
Just broke in half, and now the net's not covered.
You can break your toes, your ankles.
I didn't think about the human element of pain, but I was thinking if you can just cover every inch of the goal for 2.5 minutes or whatever, there's no chance they're going to score. You're going to have a lot of bruises, and you're going to have to put some ice packs on your body, but you're not giving up a goal.
I don't know if it was on the 5-on-3, but I mean, McAvoy gets
I'm
in
an idiot.
the net.
Yeah.
Like it is a move. I mean,
I like it.
Ryan Pulock during the Islanders Lightning Eastern Conference Finals against frickin' Cooper, he went behind the goalie and stopped one with 1 second left on Ryan McDonough's spinorama, and that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in real life, like in front of my eyes. But yeah, they'll do that from time to time. They'll get in there and like, you know, as many buys as you can get in the crease. But I mean, it's not the dumbest question ever. It's just like the strategy is dumb. Like,
well, the reason I brought it up is, I mean, obviously USA thwarted it against Canada and it worked, but I just wasn't sure what the odds are when there's 5-on-3. What are the odds that the 5 score?
Oh, it's got to be like it's got to be over like 80% for
80%.
I don't know. No, maybe not. No. Because like a good power play is like 30. High. A good power play is like 30. So a 5-on-3.
But here's the issue: 5-on-3 is usually not for very long.
Yeah,
like you don't get 2-minute 5-on-3.
True. It's like, yeah, I don't know what the number is. 80 is stupid, but like when you have a 5-on-3, you're expected to score. So whatever that percentage is, you know,
it's got to be over 50%. I don't know.
It says 23%.
That's fucking bullshit. Maybe Riggs's point is valid then.
Well, here's also what it's right. Like, here's the other thing it says. These situations are relatively rare, averaging under 8 to 10 opportunities per team over a full season.
Wow.
So I just think like they don't happen very often. And when they do, they're just not for very long, right? Like you might be shorthanded for a minute and a half and get a penalty and you have 5-on-3 for 27 seconds. Now you lose the face off.
That's a great point.
And you've only got 10 seconds. So I think if you really looked, like you'd have to boil it down to like a 5-on-3 for longer than like a minute. I bet the percentage is insanely high of like how often they score.
Or like how many 5-on-3s lead to a goal after the first one expires.
Yeah, that's true
Like
too.
That's way higher because like the guys coming out of the box and they're gassed and then you're scoring. It's got to be over. Dude, guys like top of the league power plays are like over 30% for 5-on-4. So
yeah,
5-on-3 has to be higher.
It says data suggests for a full 2 minutes, it's nearly 50%.
All right.
For 5-on-3.
All right, we're getting up there.
Yeah, which is a lot. Like that's like higher than like a shootout percentage.
I mean,
like
dude, so I play this, and there's no free ads, but I'm gonna give it to them. This little board game. It's called Bingo. Have you ever seen this? Has this come across your desk?
That sounds familiar, but I can't.
It's a little game. It's a little soccer game that you play with your fingers, and it's turf, and it's got boards. I wish they would freaking sponsor the pod because I play it every single day. Like it's got all these boards that you set it up, and it's got all these sticks. So like you've got defenders. It's almost like knock hockey or like bubble hockey, but it's open air and it fits on your dining room table. And you got a little soccer ball and a net, and you play this game Bingo. Here it is, exactly it, right? So that I play that every night. I played against my dad like 12 games the other day, and he beat me like 10 times. It's so frustrating. But you get one shot at it, and you can go off the boards, and you find out all the angles. Zoom in on like the actual little stick guys. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can follow along. But that top one that you had, just like so you can see like the defense, right? So you have to go around those guys and find your way into the net. Yeah. But if you kick one out of play from your own side of the field, it's a red card, and that means that you get to take. The other person has to take one of the guys out for the rest of the game. So it's like it's a power play for the rest of the game, and you don't realize like how unbelievably easy it is to score when one of those pegs are out. It's crazy. You would think it wouldn't make that big of a difference, but it opens up so many more lanes, which then to hockey, it's like, you get a 5-on-3. Every lane is wide open compared to what you usually have.
Right.
But Bino, man, I mean, hopefully one day, maybe they hear this and they want to jump on board.
If Bino wants to come in with an offer, we're listening.
Bino is such a sick game. It's hard to describe.
Dude, is Bino what I played against Jake Owen on his bus that one night?
That's right.
That's right.
Years ago.
Right. Dude, I remember we were pretty boozed up after being
out. You
did
play that. You came back to us and you were like, you said that because we weren't with you on the bus, but you said it was like the funnest night of your life.
Yeah, me and we were a little boozed up, and Jake Owen is a pretty cocky guy, and so am I in those situations. So we ended up, I don't remember what the stakes were. We might have been playing for like $100 a game or something.
Yes.
He's like, I'll crush you at Bino. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I'll beat your ass. And we played like Bino on his bus at 2 a.m. It was awesome.
It's a great game, and like it's got real turf. It's got turf, so like the ball kind of slides around, and you can customize them. This is a full blown ad read for something that I bought on Instagram.
We brought up visuals on YouTube. People can get a look and get their eyes on it.
It's brutal. It's brutal, but like Bino, our phone lines are open if you want us to like host tournaments or whatever. I mean, it's electric. It's an electric game.
Speaking of soccer, I watched Kicking and Screaming the other night for the first time in years. The Will Ferrell movie, dude,
so good.
If you haven't watched
I've never seen that. I've never seen that, man.
It's like it came out like it's either right before or right after all of those like semi-pros, Blades of Glory, Talladega Nights, and like Kicking and Screaming. The way Will Ferrell makes it funny in a way that it really doesn't deserve to be is out of this world. Mike Ditka's in it for some reason, and he just takes over this kid's soccer team, and it is so fucking funny. Another plug, just Kicking and Screaming. If you haven't watched it ever or in a long time, give it a watch because it's just as funny as it used to be. I was dying on my couch at so many parts.
I gotta watch it. Adidas Golf, we teamed up with them midway through last year. They've just been phenomenal. We love the people over there. We went down. We've been to Adidas kind of North American HQ up in Oregon. We've been to Adidas Golf HQ down in Carlsbad. Spent a lot of time with these folks. And not only that, but we've also partnered with them, teamed up with them to put a fresh spin on one of the most iconic silhouettes in footwear, bringing it to life as the official shoe of the People's Open, an event near and dear to our heart. I thought it went off phenomenally this year. You can still check out limited quantities at adidas.com, barstoolsports.com, PGA Tour Superstore.com. The Samba, it's the classic look, teamed up with us, reimagined through kind of our lens. So again, adidas.com/4playpod, barstoolsports.com. You can check out the shoe and a bunch of other fantastic gear from Adidas Golf.
Yeah, they got everything, man. You can do lifestyle gear, you can do golf gear, but I mean, look at this hat I'm wearing. This like 3 stripes. It's got the 3 on there.
Dude, I really like that hat. I've been looking at it the whole podcast.
Adidas Golf, established, and it has like MCMXLIX, which I guess is obviously like when they were established, and it's in Roman numerals, but it's just got the 3 there. 3 stripes, Adidas. Fantastic hat. You go on their website, there's so much amazing stuff that you would never, ever believe that Adidas made, and it's just, I mean, I'm Adidas, these pants. Like it's crazy. It's like I'm constantly rocking the 3 stripes, man.
Yeah. Comfortable.
Make sure you go check them out. Once again, that is adidas.com/4playpod. And then once again, if you want to see the Sambas, check out the Sambas, the limited quantities available, the People's shoe that we came up with them. That is adidas.com, barstoolsports.com, PGA Tour Superstore.com. But a great link to go check out in general is adidas.com/4playpod. Moving on, a couple things on the logistical front. Go check out the Sawgrass video. I think TPC Sawgrass is, and I wasn't even there for this. You guys were. I think TPC Sawgrass, despite the fact I haven't been there in a year since last year's tournament, I think it's a top 5 most iconic golf courses in the world. It's awesome. It delivers. We'll go through all this during Players Championship Week, but it delivers the biggest, I would say, variety and diversity of golf champions of probably any course that they play. We see Webb Simpson there. We've seen Tiger Woods win there. We've seen Siwoo Kim, Scotty, Rory, almost JJ Spawn. You just get an incredible mix of champions at that place. people know the holes. Even tangential golf fans know the holes. You guys were just there. You just filmed a great video there. So go check it out. It's out on YouTube right now. Heartwarming from what I hear, maybe a little bit emotional, which we like.
I cried. Yeah,
Yep.
I did cry. And it's really just worth it to see how Trent does redemption-wise on 17. I mean, one of the biggest moments of 2025 was, or was that 2024?
That was 2025.
Wow.
Wait, that was less than a year ago?
No, I think that was 2024, right? No, that was
Which
2025.
one?
The Creator
Trent
Classic.
hitting a bunch of balls in the water.
2025, dude. Isn't that less than a year
That's
ago?
psychotic.
Well, time moves a lot slower the further away we get from COVID.
We're gonna bring that up, and I'm sure it's a year ago, but I'm going to just disagree with that outright because that feels like 3 years ago. I'm not even kidding. So
the redemption story is one that you're gonna have to watch because that was one of the biggest storylines of the first half of the year last year in YouTube golf specifically. Like how Trent did. There was one thing that we heard at airports and all those balls in the water, and he's not a big time player and he's pathetic and all these things. Like everyone was just kind of hammering him for all that shit, and like it just was not.
Hit me again.
But him stepping up to that tee, the teaser really got me going. Like I don't know if it's gone out yet because Brandon Jones and Kyle Timms aren't answering me. They were peppering me yesterday, but now the day that it's going out, I haven't gotten a single text message. But yeah, no, it's definitely a video to that's worth the watch. And 16 through 18 is so worth it. It's the greatest stretch of golf. It's really hard to find a better stretch, right? It's like 15, 16, 17, and 18 at Sawgrass is like as good as I'm not gonna say it's as good as Amen Corner, but it's up there, man. It's really up there.
The walk on 16, the genius of it is you start to see 17, and that walk is fucking amazing, and it's intimidating. Like once you're done and you know what your score is, you're like, oh, that was really fun and beautiful and amazing. But when you hit your tee shot on 16, and then you hit your second shot or whatever, and you're walking up and you see 17. You get real nerves. And for guys to be trying to win such a prestigious tournament down the stretch with, who knows if they have the lead, they're tied for the lead, 1-stroke lead, whatever. It's an intimidating golf course, and it's an amazing stretch of holes. It really is.
What's your favorite stretches of golf holes? Like it's Amen Corner, it's 10, 11, 12, 13. It's
You mean to
11,
play
12,
or as
13.
like a fan or both?
I guess just I don't know. We can make our own top 10 or like top 5, like our top 5, 4-place top 5 best stretches of golf. I think I'm going to say 11 through 13 at Augusta is number 1.
Are we doing one list?
Should we do one list?
We could, whatever you want to do. Because I was going to say 6, 7, 8 Pebble.
I was going to say that as well.
Maybe we make one list.
All right, we can have our own. Top 5's easy. So I mean, if whoever wants to go first, I'll rattle mine off.
Oh boy, I got to think about this. I don't want to
Frankie, what do you got?
Omit
what do you got?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to not omit. I'm gonna say number 1 is Augusta National, 11, 12, 13. It's hard to not include 10. It's hard to not, and then you got like 16, 17, 18. It's really hard. I'm going 11, 12, 13 is my number 1 stretch of golf. Number 2, I'm going Pebble Beach. I'm going. Why are you laughing? Because this is your list.
I can't. Are we able to copy or no?
Yeah, you can. I'm going 6, 7, 8. I'm also including 9, and I'm also including 10 there.
Top 3.
Then tack on 10 for Augusta for me as well, please. So we'll go 10, 11, 12, 13 is the greatest stretch in golf.
What constitutes a stretch? 2 holes?
Well,
yeah.
I was good because I was gonna.
I think 3. I think 3 is a stretch, dude. 3 is a stretch of golf.
I was gonna say 18 at Pebble, the full 18.
Yeah, I think there's a stretch there that you really gotta hone in on.
Okay.
I'm going Sawgrass. I'm going 16, 17, 18 as number 3. I'm going the finishing 3 holes at St. Andrews. I'm going 16, 17,
16,
18.
17, 18. What are you at? How many is he at now for his top 5?
I'm at 4.
Okay.
And then I'm really trying to find my favorite stretch at Bethpage. And I really don't know that they have like a stretch. Maybe it's like the other side of the road, but those aren't like the best holes out there. It's hard. Like, I don't know that Bethpage has a stretch. I think finding my 5th is going to be really hard. Why don't you guys rattle off a couple? And now I got to think, because you guys have had more time to think. I got to think of my 5th favorite stretch in all of golf.
I
We're
would
gonna
go,
have some similar ones.
Yeah, I would definitely go 6, 7, 8 at Pebble. I would also go 17, 18 at Pebble if we can double dip on golf courses.
Oh wow, yeah,
you
can
double dip for sure. I mean, that's one of the maybe the most iconic course in the world. So I think you're allowed to
that
do that.
17 now you're out of because for the back nine for a lot of it you're tucked in the back and you don't get to see the water for a long time. And once you finally finish up 16, 17, you're looking at the water. 18 people know.
Can I finish mine off before you go?
Please.
Cyprus.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cyprus.
Now again, it's tough when you go first because now like I got nothing left. Those are just all mine.
Right.
Cyprus 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, I was gonna say 15 through 17, but you could have 14 in there too for sure.
I think 14 is where Trent and I looked at each other like, this is the coolest golf course in the world.
Yeah, I think so.
Because there was something about like seeing 15 up there. You see that tree leaning over.
Yeah. For mine, I would also add 16, 17, 18 at Sawgrass.
So make one fucking list then. Is there anything that we're missing out?
What do you got, Riggs?
Well, I think that's a good list when you have a couple hours to be like, I'm going to grind over this list and like really think about it. I think it's tough because everyone's going to weigh in like we thought about this for days before we did the segment and then be like, what are you fucking stupid? How'd you not think about this?
Put this in the clip. Put in the clip. We this was spur of the moment.
Spontaneous list.
But I like it. Just for trying to be a little bit different, I'm going to say you guys haven't been there. Cabot Cliffs in Nova Scotia, the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th holes are as spectacular as it gets. The 15th hole is just par 5 down towards what's the sea, I guess. It's not the ocean, but it looks like the ocean. The 16th hole is the iconic one that you always see the drone shot of where at like that point where that par 3 is way, way up on top of the cliff. 17 is a super controversial hole. A lot of people think it sucks. So I love that because it's like a 300-yard par 4 where you hit straight over the cliff, like straight over the cliff, completely blind shot. And then you get up there and you have this like crazy shot down the hill. And then 18 is essentially a mirrored version of the 18th hole at Pebble. The entire ocean is up the right. It's a par 5. You can kind of get it up near the green at 2. So that's an unbelievably cool stretch. I would say, too, dude, I would look at like there's a stretch at Gamble Sands on the front 9. You could pick a couple of them maybe, like almost like 2 through 8 are at the front 9 at Gamble Sands where you're overlooking the river, where the mountains like fall into the river, and there's like 2 or 3 drivable par 4s and then a couple par 3s that are kind of on the edge where the views are insane. And then I would probably look at like the back 9 stretch of Bandon Dunes, the OG course at Bandon Dunes. There's a back 9 stretch there. I'd probably go like 15, 16, 17. 17's not maybe as spectacular, but it has such a cool second shot over like this ravine. And you got to do 3s. Like 15 is so unreal. Par 3, like back at the water. 16 is the iconic hole at Bandon that everybody always posts, like with the cliffs and the sunset. And then 17 is a cool par 4. So I would be remiss not to bring up a couple of those as a little bit of a homer. I think 15, 16, 17, 18 at Pinehurst number 2 with the clubhouse right there and how much has happened right there with the history of the Payne Stewart putt, of the Bryson shot, of the Rory missed putt. I think that 17th hole par 3 is really cool. And that 16th hole converted par 5, like down in the tall pine trees is such a cool hole. And the 15th hole par 3 before it is like classic Donald Ross with the hardcore eggshell green. So like, I just think you could throw some of those in there just to be a little bit different, I guess.
Ryan Richardson, don't make this a list. These are just great stretches in golf. You know, it doesn't need to be top 10. We're just rattling off great stretches in golf. And I want people that are listening and watching on YouTube to comment your favorite stretches. Also respond to us on X and Instagram as well. But definitely on YouTube, I want to read through the comments on your best stretches of golf. Because like, there's going to be a billion of them, and I'd love to read through them and go through all those holes because there are some like F you in the face type of stretches in golf that when you get up to a course. Dude, what course did we play that like it started off with a bang? And I remember saying like, holy shit, like this course, like starts off with something insane. Don't you remember we played somewhere?
I remember
where like
I felt that way at Crail. I remember.
Maybe it was Crail. I remember us all
Crail's
being
really
like,
cool.
this is just like you're in it off the tee box. Like you're like.
The way I felt at Crail was there was a tee box, there was a little stretch of fairway, and then there was like a flag in the middle of the ocean almost. And it was like, wow, I got to tee off
Fisher's
right
Island
now.
is kind of like a F you in the butt type of like stretch. I mean, I think like 3 through 5. Now that I'm thinking, like the third hole, like the tee box is in the water, and then like you have the punch bowl 4, and then 5's an incredible hole. That could be up there in my top 5 also. But this is not a list. This is just we're rattling off great stretches.
We're just chopping it up.
Yeah, we're just.
I like the 2-hole stretch at Spyglass, the downhill par 3, and then the bacon strip green. That's the next hole, right? Is that 4 or 5?
If you're gonna do Spy, you do the first 4 holes because that opening par 5 is.
Oh, it's
awesome.
Spyglass. Spyglass punches you right in the freaking mouth.
You got to throw it down the hill.
Oh, dude, that turn on 1, it's Spyglass. Like, that's the one we were thinking of. It's Spyglass. You make that left on 1, and you're like, this is the greatest stretch of golf in the world. We just hit our first shot. We haven't hit an iron yet.
And then 2 is an okay hole, but the green site is awesome. You have a sick view, and then you walk across to the tee on 3, which is that downhill par 3 over the ocean.
Yes.
So sick. And then 4, that was where Frankie was like, what body of water is that? And then 4 is the bacon strip hole, which is one of the coolest par 4s in the world. So yeah, the opening 4 at Spy are as good as it gets. I really like that. Another one I would say is the closing 3 holes at Carnoustie. I know you're not on the ocean. It's not like insane views, but 16 is like known as one of the hardest par 3s. I think ever 17 has that where you cross over the burn once or twice. I think it's like a really kind of, and then 18 with the clubhouse. And that's where Jean Van de Velde made a 7 to essentially lose the Open. Like that's a pretty iconic stretch, but it doesn't have like the views.
We played that in like the pitch black, didn't we?
It was dark. That's exactly what I was going to say. I got to do that. I got to run Carnoustie back because it was pitch black. I don't even think I found my ball on 18.
Dude, even because isn't like Hogan's Alley pretty early on? Isn't that like the second or
fifth
third
hole? I think maybe.
I remember that being like dark for that, and like I couldn't even really. It wasn't like dark, but the sun was right in your eyes. It was setting, and you're just like.
Dude, remember we teed off at like 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Yeah, but dude, I will say, walking up 18, the clubhouse was lit up. People were having drinks or whatever it was. Like it sounded like there was a lot of people congregating. Is that like a hotel right behind it or something?
Yeah,
there was a hotel right there, and it was such a clear night that it felt like we were golfing in the galaxy. Remember how bright the stars were?
Yeah.
Like it was that dark. I mean, it was pitch black playing golf, but it was so cool. You could see all the stars, the moon. It was incredible. But I don't remember the course enough.
You know, you need to hit to like, you probably got to look at, I don't know if Shinnecock, if you could like point out to a specific 3-hole stretch. I don't know about Wingfoot. I don't know about Oakmont, but some of these like iconic courses, those almost just kind of hit you in the teeth the whole time. And I guess the holes look a little bit more like similar than they do at some of the places we're mentioning, so they don't stand out as much as like a stretch of golf. Marion, like, I guess, I'm trying to think about places that we'd be forgetting.
Oakmont is a tough one and I loved Oakmont. I really had a good time when we were playing there. But when you're comparing it to the Pebbles and like, I think there's a stretch Pacific Dunes that you could mention, like those types of golf courses. When Oakmont is in a field, and I loved it there, and like I would love to play that place again because you can hit it anywhere and still have a chance. But it doesn't have the spectacular views like these other places.
I struggle with Shinnecock with that as well. I'm sure you could find a 5-hole stretch that's better than most in the country, but I can't hone in like my favorite stretch of Shinnecock. Maybe it's like 10, 11, 12, 13 is pretty good, but that's like I'm just thinking about my memories there of like walking in, grabbing a drink, getting a little sandwich, walking across the road, getting a 10, that tee shot I really like, that second shot I really like. Then you have 11, which is a motherfucker of a hole. Like there's a lot of moments out there that Shinnecock's in my top 5 of courses just because of the experience and the history and how beautiful it is. But I don't know that I think I agree with you. I don't know that I could put that on the same level as like the final stretch of Pebble Beach or 6, 7, 8, 9 or Augusta National. I do think it's like not as visually remembering.
You mentioned Bethpage, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what? 15, 16, or 16, 17, 18.
Awesome.
15, 16, 17, 18.
Bethpage. I mean, Bethpage, you really could do like 4, 5, 6. I mean, 4 is arguably the best par 5 that's not on water in the world.
Yeah.
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 5 is an incredible hole as well. Like once you finish 4, 5, you have to have such art off the tee on 5, and then 6 is fantastic. It's like all about like precision driving. You can also bomb it because there's hills that go down. The greens are like tucked away. These little dime greens are tucked away either to the left or down below in the hill. Yeah, I mean the 4, 5, 6 is incredible at Bethpage.
I'd go honorable mention. Mention for that one.
That's I think we listed off a bunch of good ones.
No, there are. Pacific Dunes. I know you kind of mentioned there, Trent. Like people could go to war for Pacific Dunes. Like you could do, I want to say it's like 10, 11, 12, 13 would be like 10 and 11 of those back-to-back par threes that are on the ocean. My brother got the ace on the 10th hole. Shout out to him.
Yep.
11 is like a pretty damn good par 5, but 12 is a pretty damn good par 5, but I would include it just because you have to also include 13 is like the iconic par 4 with the cliffs all up the left and the huge dune where Trent had that famous picture of an incident up on the right, that gigantic sand dune up on the right.
Yep.
Like that little stretch of 13 through or 11 through 14 or 10 through 14 or 10 through 13 is an insane stretch. So yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of them. Really, there's quite a bit of them. Let's move on real quick. Jim Furyk. Shout out to Jim Furyk. Just got announced that Jim Furyk will be Golf Channel's lead analyst for Bay Hill, which is next week, and then the Players Championship, which is the following week. Jim Furyk, one of those guys. I got no idea if Jim Furyk will be great at this or not. I don't know that he's the most exciting guy of all time, but I also think Jim Furyk, who's shot 58, he's shot 59. Every time we pull up these lists of like the highest earners in the history of golf, he's like top 5 on the goddamn list. And you're like, oh my God, Jim Furyk, money-making machine, major winner. I think he won like almost 20 times on the PGA Tour. He was the Ryder Cup captain. He's President's Cup captain. Like Jim Furyk's got quite the resume. And I do think if I recall, because I'm a press conference watcher, if I recall, Jim Furyk, although, being pretty like dry as a golfer to watch outside of swing being incredibly interesting because he just hit it down the middle of the fairway, hit it middle of the green, make a lot of putts. That's not necessarily the most personality in a golf game of all time. I do recall from his press conferences and stuff that Jim Furyk is quite insightful and quite articulate about stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how the trial goes, if you will. But I'm very fascinated to see how Jim Furyk does in the booth.
Yeah, no, he seems like a very nice guy. I don't know, I don't know if he's the most opinionated. I have no idea. I really don't. You really just, when you think about Jim Furyk, you think about him cashing checks and him playing a pretty straightforward golf game. I have no idea how he's going to be in the booth. I hope he's great. Always good. I like having Jim Furyk around. It's a name everybody knows. Nice guy. Hope he's good on the mic. We'll see. It kind of came out of nowhere, this announcement. And it was like, all right, Jim Furyk's in the booth. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Yeah, kind of a boring, just money-making golfer, but hopefully that can translate to some good insight. And no one's played more golf, it feels like, than Jim Furyk in the history of the world. So he's got stories for days. He's got great insight. I don't know much about his personality, which I'm actually excited to hear about. I mean, hopefully he's one of those guys that he lets his personality out in the booth, because those are the best. Like, Kiz is the best at that. Trevor Immelman is the best at that. You get a feel for who they actually are in the booth. And like when they say something, it actually resonates with you because you're like, oh, that guy actually meant that. He's not just saying that for TV. Those are the best commentators. Those are the best analysts. Guys that like, it's almost like listening to a podcast, but with live golf going on. Like he's actually going to give his true insight. Doesn't care what people think about it. So good luck to him. I'm excited to see, fresh blood in booths are always good.
Yeah.
What about Whistling Straits? I'm just kind of combing through for the 3-hole stretches. Whistling Straits.
You got me going on like when I said like that the course that just hits you off the bat. I started thinking like, what's the best opening hole in golf? And you just can't find one. Opening holes are really, it might be Spyglass, dude. Like I don't know,
dude. So Spyglasses is up there. Sheep Ranch at Bandon is up there. That first hole is very reminiscent of the first hole at Spyglass, where it's a little bit dogleg left down towards the ocean. It's by far the best opening hole at Bandon because And a lot of this, like just from reading a couple architecture books, you learn that like Americans for the most part kind of blew this, where we would take the most valuable land on site and put a clubhouse there. Whereas like in Scotland and old school spots, they would take the least valuable spot so that they could save the most valuable spots for the best golf holes. And that's where you would start from. So the first hole and the 18th hole at a lot of the iconic links courses, not all of them, but a lot of the iconic ones aren't the best ones because they're just using them to get you out to the best holes.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
That kind of got me going there. I like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Isn't that cool? Again,
Really cool.
It's not everywhere, but if you look like even, you know, if you really think about like the actual course at Bandon Dunes, and I know like you guys been there, I believe once, so it's not you're going to remember everything, but it's like this par 4 that kind of goes up to the right, that you're going away from kind of the clubhouse, away from the ocean.
I do remember that.
You know, it's kind of nondescript. If you think about the 18th hole, it's the one where the guy had the sand bunker incident, the caddy. It's a par 5 going back towards the clubhouse.
What was the sand bunker incident? You keep saying that. What is
The
that?
caddy,
What was
right?
Remember when the caddy got his guy, he tested the sand?
Oh, I
and
think that
got
with
his
Trent.
guy-
I see. Oh, okay. Yeah. I do
Sorry.
remember that.
Well,
In
there
the US
wasn't
Amateur.
there was the hole on the right.
Yes.
Can you picture that huge bunker?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what he was talking about before, but then he was
Got
talking
it.
about
Yeah.
Sorry,
the
different
caddy during the amateur. During
The US Amateur.
Yeah,
Yep.
US
So
Amateur.
like that 18th hole, right, is like a nondescript sort of hole. It's not a bad hole, but it doesn't stick out like the ocean holes at Bandon Dunes.
Right.
And same when you think about like Cypress Point, right? Like Cypress is as iconic as it gets, but like they didn't put the clubhouse at Cypress right on the cliffs. They put it back up in the trees a little bit. And that's why like the first hole at Cypress is fine. You hit over the road. The 18th hole at Cypress, one of the most controversial holes in the world, where a lot of people like hate it. But that's because those holes are largely just a pathway to get to the best land on property.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like St. Andrews has probably the most iconic opening hole, but I don't necessarily know it's the best golf hole.
It's just a field. It's a field, man.
Field,
Like
they
it's
hit
not,
iron off the first tee. Like, there's just something about it. It's not the best, but you know, I would love to play it because I'd love to hit, you know, my little 5-wood or 3-wood out there, and then knock down a little pitching wedge into that first green over the what do they call it? The burn, the burn.
The burn. The burn. Remember Tiger Woods kept hitting the burn? I feel like every time he starts that damn tournament.
Time.
It's crazy. Like,
Lately, our
easiest
guys
hole for
hitting
him
it in
to
there.
just start with a birdie of all time. And he just always kept making like bogeys and double bogeys. Like, what are we doing here?
So frustrating.
It is. And it's, you know, so yeah, St. Andrews is another great call of like, look, St. Andrews probably doesn't have really many holes that like have phenomenal views anyway. The most iconic holes there, like I would say 1 and 18 are both like nondescript holes and fields based on the land, but based on the setting, they're like the most iconic holes in golf. You got the old course hotel right there. You've got the R&A HQ right there. Like those are the 18th holes as iconic as it gets, but that's not because that land is like the best land in Scotland. It's just become so valuable because of where it is. So again, that's not universal. If you go look the first hole at Pebble Beach, first, second holes are kind of like throwaway holes out there compared to the other ones, but that's just sort of how
there's a great
how it goes.
18-hole flyover of Pebble Beach that Jim Nantz narrates, and he's, you know, the opener of the video is like, this is Pebble Beach, it's the greatest golf course, and they're showing all these highlights, and it's just great. And then he's like, the first hole, it's good, not great, and then they just move. Like it's like there's all this hype, and then the first hole, because it's iconic in the way that it's the first hole at Pebble Beach, but you put that anywhere else, you're just like, this hole kind of stinks. I can't really.
Yeah.
Most people can't hit driver. You're starting off with like a 3-wood, 5-wood, and then it's a weird hole.
Dude, it's reminiscent of a roller coaster where like you're sitting in your seat and you're just kind of taking off slow, like one of those real, you know, thrilling roller coasters that takes you through, you know, maybe a story at first. And you're just kind of looking through, like everything's calm. You can hear like the gas compression, all that stuff going on below you. And you know you're getting shot straight up. Like it's that. Once you get to like 3 and 4, you know you're getting to the top of that thing. Then you get to that freaking 6 tee box, 7 tee. When you get to that 6 tee box, even the 5th, like you're on your way down. You know
Before
what I mean? Like,
before you start getting your eyes on it, though,
but like you're starting to throw your hands up in the air and you're starting to get some wind in your face. Like once you get to like,
so you think it's effective? It could work out that way. Where it's
I don't think that they thought it that way. It's
Yeah.
just the way they got, lucky in the fact that the holes that they needed to use in the middle of the golf course are the greatest holes in the world, right? Like it's just a matter
and it's
of
sort of like if you go back to when they hand this land to the architect, they're like, this is the land that you have to use, and he's like, all right, we're going to start right here, we're going to use these holes to get out to the ocean, and then we're going to be in the ocean for like 3 hours, and it's going to be amazing.
Dude, that's such a great point, right? Like they could have just like built like the Pebble Beach clubhouse on the hill of 6 easily,
absolutely,
and like hotels and rooms. Like I just said, it was lucky. Fuck that. That it's not lucky. That's perfect architecture. That's great. That's using the land perfectly.
And in today's day and age, depending on the owner and the they might have done that. Like there's places that we've been where they would do that. They'd be like, nope, like this is where the clubhouse is going to go because of weddings, because of banquets, because we're going to be able to charge so much for hotel rooms. Like from the business standpoint, this is where we're putting our epicenter of everything, and then we'll figure out the holes from there. Whereas this, they were like, nope, bring it back here, and it works out because they've obviously built next to the 18th green, so that's worked out amazingly. But if you think about it, like when they started that golf course, they were like, this is the land that you own, and he's like, we're going to start right here, and we're going to finish right here, and it's going to be incredible. Like that's pretty much what they did.
Dude, when I play PGA Tour 2K25, which everyone should go download, it's a great game. And, our Barstool gear is in there. And we're in PGA Tour 2K23 as players, which is preposterous. But
yes, we are.
They have that course builder, and you just get like a plot of land. And obviously in that game, I can create cliffs and stuff, which like you can't do in real life. But if you try and keep it, which I know like that guy Crazy Canuck on YouTube and Instagram that helped me build Butters Bay, like he'll take it super seriously where like whatever land it generates for him, he'll essentially work with what he has there, right? So like there's not as much customizing, the cliffs. Yes, he'll make some like a little bit more steep than others, which I guess they can do in real life as well. But like trying to do that, it is hard plotting your way around. Like what's the first hole? You want to get selfish and be like, bang, first hole, tee box in the water, we're going against this cliff. And then you realize as you go along the water, you just have like 3 or 4 holes that go along this water, and then the rest of the golf course has to now occupy all this middle land. And it's like, if you're actually enjoying that golf course, you've blew your load in your pants like an oyster, 3.5 hours ago before you're on your 16th hole. That's not fun. So yeah, golf course architecture. I got to start reading some golf course architecture books
really
that are
fascinating because it mixes in a lot of history too, which I know we're into right now. Like it mixes in a ton of
story
history.
Though. I think it would get boring to me if it's just like the X's and O's. So I got to find like the right ones. So maybe people can
But I guess what I would tell you to that is why it's interesting, and it depends who writes it, obviously, and what you're reading. But like, almost every hole that's ever been created was created with the inspiration of another hole. So like they'll go through why the 11th hole at Bandon Dunes was created, and it's based on like David McClay Kidd, who's Scottish, in his experiences covering the Scottish links, and he'll come back to like where the concept for putting this bunkering on this hole came from. I'll just make one up, but like leaving links in Scotland. And when he played that hole when he was a kid, he always made a note that he wanted to repeat this feature. So it sort of like does tell those stories. It connects history with like what they do today. And it gets really interesting where you learn like it's not like computer generated holes. A lot of them have a pretty interesting backstory and like a route to why they decided to build a hole that way, which is really interesting.
Like
and then
template holes you see all around the country as well.
Yeah, and then a lot of it too is like
the CB
the routing
stuff.
Yeah, how important like routing is for kind of what we're talking about right now, where it's like this is the available land. You can do whatever you want to get 18 holes onto here. You could have people pretty much start where you'd like. Like we have some input as the ownership group on like logistically where we're going to need to get golf carts to and from. So like it might need to be in this area, but overall, like you've got 1 through 18, you got tee boxes and green sites, and you could do them however you want. Go get it. And like that's such artistry where you're starting from scratch and you're going to decide how people move And then when you start looking at like how close greens are to tee boxes and how like genius that is, and Donald Ross was incredibly good at that. When you go play the Pinehurst courses that were built by Donald Ross, like when you putt out on the green, like it's like a 10-yard walk and you're teeing off on the next tee box because the routing was so genius and how logistically difficult that is when you're trying to use the land perfectly. You think this green site, that green site, this is how this hole should be. Like for it to match up where that's right next to the green is where you start the next hole is like, it comes off like a miracle. But in reality, it's like, no, that's just genius architecture.
Yeah, no, it is very interesting. Yeah. No, I'll definitely. I'm sure we're gonna get a million recommendations and stuff. So I'll dive deep into that once I finish this Bible of a book of Harry Truman. It's just eating away at me. Because architecture does interest me, and like I'm a big fan, and I only know one course that comes to mind that's like this. It's Rockville Links, but like when you back to back par fives, or if you stuff a lot of scoreable holes in a row, to me that's like one of my favorite things of a golf course. Like when I get up to 7, it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at Rockville Links. It's a par 5, par 5, par 3, par 3, par 5.
Yep.
So you're like, for the next hour or so, I can make outrageously good scores. I can eagle 7, I can birdie 8, I can like hit a long iron in and just make a par on 9, then 10 is a short par 3. Like I'm not going to make more than a 5 for the next hour and a half. Like, it's like there's something really exciting about that. Now that happens to be like a shorter golf course because it's like restrained to within Rockville Center, but like there's something about that stretch of golf that as a player, I just like, I got to get to 7 and like I can just light this course on fire. I'm going to be having like sure you can make a 7 or an 8 like if you play bad, like if you're not a good par 5 player, like it can really eat you up. Like Trent usually dies on 7, 8, 9, 10, but like
8 I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'm going to make a par here and we're going to be really off. And then I make a 9 and I'm like, we got to
There's just something about seeing those high numbers. Like, all right, the card's already expecting me to have a high number here and I'm going to beat that. And like, I have a ton of time right now to just like get my driver dialed, get my hybrid going. Like there's just, when you're going from par 5 to par 3 to par 4, you're just like kind of always on your toes and you're not really getting into a rhythm. I just feel like that's a rhythm course. So if I ever like really built a golf course, I think I would do something like that where I would like stack them all. And it's like, this is the gauntlet, I love that shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I get that way about certain holes like at Pebble. I think like when I get to, like for me, when I get to the 4th tee at Pebble, and if I haven't made a mess of the first 3, I'm like, dude, let's go. Like 4 is like a 5-wood and a wedge. 5's a hard hole. You got to hit a great shot. We talked about 5 a lot the other week. But then 6, unless the wind's crazy, I feel like I can get it up near the green in 2. 7 is like a little wedge. So I feel like that little stretch, I always feel like, dude, I could get through the 7th hole, and 8, 9, and 10 are absolutely brutal. So like, I don't, that part is the complete opposite of what we're talking about. But I feel that same way where I'm like, I'm so excited to play the golf course. If I get through the 3rd hole without too much blood and I'm not bleeding and licking my wounds, then I kind of stand on that 4th tee being like, all right, dude, like you should have 3 wedges in a row here on these next 3 holes. Like we could do some damage. Now we're playing Pebble Beach. Oh my God, this is so awesome.
By the way, when people are listening to this, we're on our way to Pebble Beach today.
Yes, we are.
Which is outrageous.
Yeah, we are. That's crazy.
Dude, it's
have
so
they
funny.
redone? Are we playing Spanish Bay this time or no? Because are they redoing that?
They're closing it like in a month.
Oh, wow. So
I know.
This is like the last hoorah.
We actually don't know the lineup yet. I don't know which courses we're playing. I'm pretty sure we're playing Pebble Beach Golf Links, but I don't know if we're doing the Preserve. I don't know if we're doing Spanish. I'm not sure. I know.
Years. I would love to get out the Spy, but yeah, I do. Spanish Bay is always that one because it's always on that final Sunday, and it's always just so like windy and early and cold of our Dad Bod Classic tournament. That
you're just out of energy, a little hungover, maybe.
Yeah, I think it gets a bad rap, Spanish Bay, especially because of what it's surrounded by. You got Cypress, Pebble Beach, you got Spyglass, you got everything. Even like the mini Pebble. What's that other course that people love to go to? That other Pebble.
Pacific Grove, I think it's called.
Yeah, like there's so many other courses that people love, and obviously the Preserve. But Spanish Bay is one, and Monterey Peninsula, and Monterey Bay. What is it? Monterey Dunes and. The Dunes course and the Shore course.
Shore course.
There's so many right there in that circle. It's insane. that Spanish Bay kind of gets like brushed over and people don't love it as much, but I really like it. I think it's a fun golf course. It's so difficult is what it is. It's a very, very hard course. So I think that's what gets people kind of up in arms about it. But I heard they're doing a big renovation on it. So that'll be exciting to see the difference in that.
Yeah, I kind of went through that release on the renovation quite a bit. And I saw so Gil Hance is being brought in, him and Jim Wagner, who we've talked about a lot on the show. We've had Gil Hance on the show a handful of times. He's the man, one of the nicest guys in the world, but he's been sort of the renovation master for the last 15 years. It feels like he's done all the top courses. He feels like he's doing major championship courses all the time. They brought those guys in to redo it, really, and I saw a lot of what they're going to do. There's very little rerouting. I think there's going to be a new par 4 on the back 9. Remember that par 5 that plays straight down the hill like 13 or something, and it's always straight into the wind and always an absolute bear with the nature preserve on the right that you're not allowed to hit out of. I think right around that area, they're going to have a new par 4, and then that par 3 short one right before it, I think they're going to move that green site because it's kind of up in the condos right now. I think they're going to move that green site. And then a lot of what they're going to do is like widen the entry points to the greens, because I think that was one of the complaints people have, is that it's Spanish Bay, like the links at Spanish Bay. It's supposed to play linksy. It's sand. You're on the ocean, but you can't like run the ball up on any of those greens. It's very much you got to like fly it to the middle of the green, and those greens are ridiculous. So I saw a lot of like they're going to soften the greens and make the entry points to the greens a lot more friendly is kind of what I saw, which I think will make it play a lot better, I guess.
Right. I love that. That one par 3 over that like marsh that's on the ocean is like my least favorite hole in the world. I've never played
it's
it well.
Always straight into the wind too.
Straight into the wind. It's like 145 yards or 150, and everyone's hitting like 5 irons in, and like you just feel so uncomfortable up there. And then you're either like way long because you nutted it and like you just got through the wind, or you're way short and you like can't believe
it's a narrow green too. If you're short, you're like re-teeing.
Yeah, and then they have like a weird drop zone in the back by the bunker. It's just very strange. It's a strange hole, man. I've always made just outrageously large numbers on that, and just kind of looking at my opponent being like, this is yours, man. Like, I'm throwing an X.
All right, a couple more things here. Justin Thomas has been playing a little bit of TGL. He's returning next week, I believe, at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which will be his first start since being out since the Ryder Cup. That was the last time he played competitive golf, was the Ryder Cup. He had what was it, back issue? Is that what he had, a back?
Yeah,
I think he had like a
surgery.
minor back surgery that keeps you out for a while. He's back now. Something I just saw on Twitter that was interesting is he's apparently not wearing Grayson anymore, and they removed him from their website, which I find incredibly surprising if that's true, because I always kind of assumed JT was given some equity in Grayson, and that's why he decided to go there whenever he had the fallout from Polo Ralph Lauren. But just a couple interesting tidbits about JT. Golf's better when JT's playing. He's one of the better personalities in the game. I think he's one of the more interesting players to actually, from a shot making standpoint, to watch play the game. I'll never forget that round at TPC Sawgrass when everybody was hitting it in the water all day long, and he was just hitting these artsy shots. I think he had the same number that was like 205 or something like that throughout the day, where he hit a pitching wedge one time and he hit like a 5-wood another time because one was into and one was downwind. So I'll never forget that round, but very fun guy to watch play golf. And we're obviously rooting JT a healthy return to the game.
Yeah, golf's better when he's in the mix. So he's a fiery guy. He's got great, great energy out on the golf course, and he's an easy guy to root for. And he's obviously a big part of the American Ryder Cup team. So you'd want to see him get his form back, play well off this injury. Hopefully this was something that, I don't know if he got injured necessarily and like had to get like rushed to a surgery, or this was something that's been nagging him, and he figured like, I'll just get this done during the off season. And it's obviously a very serious, risky, anything with the back is nerve wracking, and there's some risk involved. And like, how am I going to be able to swing a golf club after this the same way? And the fact that he's progressing this quickly, I mean, I've been watching his recovery on his Instagram. He's been posting like him working out. I mean, he was already doing workouts like the week of. He was standing up, moving his body around. He's an impressive dude. He's definitely got that fire back in him, and he wants to play well. So I think that you're going to see a lot of stuff from JT this year. I think he's got like a lot of motivation to get back and get his form back. And I'm sure if it's something that was nagging him, it's probably such a relieving Like we all have our, like for me, like my
Yeah.
neck is always killing me. I've got like numbness in like the top of my neck, and like I always think like if I could just get rid of that, my life would be so much better. Like if he has that relief now, it probably opens him up so much more, especially the way these guys swing, dude. Did you watch that Tommy Fleetwood video of him at TGL talking to Justin Rose about Butch Harmon?
I sent that to Ryan Richard. Ryan Richard, pull that bad boy
Dude,
up
it
right
was
now.
so interesting. This is why TGL is great, because like on a Tuesday night, you get the best players in the world kind of talking about something that they had learned over the weekend. This is not them in tournament mode, so they're going to be a little bit more open to speaking on a hot mic or in front of a camera. Like listen to Tommy Fleetwood talking about this new thing that Butch Harmon had taught him this week.
Butch gave me an unbelievable one the other day. So he's setting up on it. So he wants me to stay high, hit back, 98, close a door with my left hip, and then turn and go onto it. So like if there was a door open here, shut it, and then go.
Shut that door. Shut that door, lad.
Shut the door.
It's so good, and like it's amazing that that's something that we would see on Instagram. Like, hey guys, like stand in front of a door, get to your top position, and with your
Big
left
time,
hip,
and be
act
like,
you're closing that. Riggs did this for a year, where it was like you're sitting on the toilet or something like that.
I remember that.
At
yeah,
the
I was sitting
point.
in a chair at the top of my backswing, which is a similar kind of thing, honestly.
It is.
And I took a little lesson last week just because I get so excited to go to Pebble, and it wasn't identically shut the door, but it was very similar like concept to what those guys are talking about, which is like keeping like at first your hip and all that back, because your upper body can rotate too early, which I learned, which brings your arms and all that over the top, which is a lot of like what all three of us on this show struggle with. Where I'm talking about a right-handed golfer, obviously, but like if you rotate your chest and even like your left hip too early, then your arms have nowhere to go. They can't like drop in the slot and hit. Like I think of like FP a lot when he like drops it in that slot we talk about a lot and just pures the ball all the time. What a lot of us get into is like you get so anxious to hit the ball and so taught that like make sure you rotate your hips, you rotate your chest, you rotate everything, that you do it too early, and then instead of your arms having time to get up to the top, kind of drop in that slot and then close the door and like send it like they're talking about, you get too early where your arms come over the top, you're casting, you're hitting the ball from outside in weak, and you think you're rotating like you're supposed to, but you're really kind of spinning out of it. And then that's where I get that early extension weak, like my lower body has to stop in order to have my hands catch up, or I'll just miss the ball. And then late, my whole body comes in really late, and like that's where I get that like lungy bullshit, like dog looking shit, where like exactly what they're talking about is like, dude, get in that spot. He's saying like sit back a little bit and then close that door. And hearing him talk about that was awesome.
It was awesome. Hold on, I'm gonna go get this training aid that just got sent to my house. Hold on.
I mean, with this advice, I'm gonna shoot the course record at Pebble. Like the way that feels, because everything that you just described is me. And again, John Tillery would testify to like that's I'm way too quick. And I'm casting my arms. You got to giving it time to develop. And I think that's sort of what Butch is saying when you like stay high, stay open. Because I just try to do everything too fast because I'm like, I got to hit this ball. But if you let it develop and then you shut the door right at the end, I think you're getting maximum fucking force.
Well, especially under pressure, right? Like you and I suffer from the same thing where it's like on the range where there's no consequences. Boy, oh boy, do I have the most patience you'd ever see. You let things develop, you let the sequencing go, and then you get on that first tee and all of a sudden all these bad memories flood in. It's time for you to hit the ball. Holy shit, I hope I don't mess up. Everything gets too quick, too rushed, even though you feel like you're doing the right thing. And then next thing, it's just like, oh God, that shot's going to go viral. Jesus, right.
So we always talk about like our partnership with Skills and, call it an ad read, whatever you want to call it. But like, this is just a reality situation. We do have a partnership with Skills. And I'm out of breath, by the way. I just ran downstairs.
We can give you a second to collect yourself.
Give me a second.
Yeah, no, collect yourself.
All right. There you go.
Heart's pounding. Snowed again today. Had to shovel again today.
I woke up to snow on the ground. Unbelievable.
Jesus, guys.
This is like to get more shallow. I think it's called like the shallow training aid, shallow shot training aid. I talked to Skills. I'm like, I need something that like teaches me that, when we talked to David Woods, it was like, feel like you're moving that ball with the iron back.
Yep.
Don't break your wrist right away. Have your arms connected to your body and like rotate all as one, right? Like a nice cohesive movement. So they literally like made this, and we're going to have them at Dick's Sporting Goods and Golf Galaxy. It's got our logo on it. It's really cool. This is coming out soon. Like all you do is like you put it on your back arm like this.
Okay.
And then it's right here, right? See me?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, yeah.
Now
So
it's
Frankie's
like-
doing basically the triangle. It's like
Right.
really.
So now can you hear me? Now you
Yep.
can't break away. For me to hit this shot, I have to, like if I haven't hit a ball with it yet, but the feeling of like this feels unbelievable right here. It's just getting me to where I need to get to. And now I'm doing all the other work with all my body, which I never do. I'm always all arms.
Right.
I'm
Yep.
like baseball. I'm like getting up here trying to hit like this. But this is like, all right, now that we're here, where are we going? Now I got to like rotate more. It's activating so much more stuff, and it's got two different settings, one for irons and one for putting. And the putting one's probably genius as well, where you just roll a bunch of putts on the practice putting green with this thing in. It's literally impossible to break your wrist. You have to be that pendulum. In order to have this not fall in between your forearms, you have to have the perfect form to hold on to it. So I can't wait to get to like a practice green and a driving range with this. I have super high hopes that it's just going to get me into that rhythm. It's not going to change my swing to the point where I'm going to be missing the golf ball for a year. It's just going to be like, all right, that feels normal now. At least that first movement, I can register that in my brain. Everything else, it's never going to be perfect, but at least I can get athletic and like get to a spot that is better than where it used to be. So listen, it's baby steps, but I just thought that this literally just came today. So I'm super excited.
I love that thing.
Try it out.
I love that little
Right?
addition from Skills. I'm going to get one of those. And yeah, I got to get I'm laughing thinking about some of my lesson last week. I had my boy Bobby Offenbaker up at Whisper Rock, we've had 3 or 4 lessons. He got me really going at the end of last year. Like you should have seen him texting me the night before the Kirk match where I was like, dude, I need a little something going into this. This is going to be insane. And he sent me like this inspirational stuff. And also he's just been helping me with my swing. But dude, last week in like 5 minutes, he improved my club head speed with my new QI40 driver by like 15 miles an hour. Like I had 160 club head speed and was just hitting it really solid. And a lot of it was exactly what we're talking about. And he might be driving himself insane listening to us butcher this right now, but I think we're doing an okay job. And it was just an amazing amount of, like Colin Morikawa. Every time we film with Colin Morikawa, and I played well last time we filmed with Colin, but I ran into him in the locker room afterwards. We were both changing. And I was like hitting him with like, what are you thinking about my action? Because he always tells me you just never use your lower body. He's like, you don't use your lower body at all. And I've been told that forever. I know Trent's been told that. We all are arms and whatever. And so that's like what we were working on last week was essentially simple ways to just start getting your lower body involved. And the best part is like in my head, all I'm thinking about is, opening up and like basically sitting into my right hip at the top of my backswing. And then like transferring everything over to my left side and almost like jumping up with your left leg.
Yep.
And you're thinking like, if I'm thinking about that stuff, I'm going to miss the golf ball. And instead I was just hitting these high towering draws that were going like 10 or 20 yards longer than usual, like instantly. And he's like, oh yeah, we've just like unlocked your lower body. And he's like, if you could just commit to doing that, which takes a ton of practice and all that. He's like, it's not like your path and all this is going to be a disaster. He's like, your path is better. And he had me on one of the data screens. I can't remember exactly which one he had, maybe like Foresight or one of those. But it was like all my attack angle was like between 0 and like 1 degree from the inside out, which is where you want to be every single time. And like my path was straight. And he's like, yeah, when your lower body gets proper, you've played enough golf and you're like athletic enough that the rest of it not only falls into place, like you're in a much better spot. And I'm like, dude, I don't feel like I'm even doing anything. And I haven't been able to hit a draw with the driver in 3 years. It feels like I'm just hitting this slapdicky cut, trying to get it in play. And we're just hitting like these high towering draws. Now, bringing that to the golf course, we'll see. It's a lot different, but it was amazing hearing him just kind of give me a couple things. And within 5 minutes, like we were supposed to do an hour lesson and we were there for like 2 hours because he, from a nerd standpoint, like this is what he does for a living. He was so giddy about what we were doing. He was like bringing out new shafts, and he was like, now you need new shafts because your swing speed's up like 15 miles, So it's crazy how the stuff that those guys were just talking about, Tommy Fleetwood and like Justin Rose being like, Butch Harmon gave me something, is everybody needs a little bit different stuff. So it's not necessarily all universal, but there's certain universal stuff that just, I was
now, are you bringing that to the golf course? You bring in the new shafts and the new swing to Pebble Beach?
I don't have the new shafts yet, but the new swing thought, I'm going to bring that out to Pebble for sure. And I'm also going to like bring that out to a YouTube match today that we're going to have. So it could either be
smokes.
It could be a disaster or it could be
Well, I feel better for, I think that'll be good. Like you got to get a round in for sure with that. Like, before going to a place, because Pebble with the wind and everything, like it's such a mental place that you got to at least you got to go into with what you got. You got to go into it with what you got. And if it's not good enough, you just got to get through it. Like I've noticed that about Pebble Beach and that whole area, that if you start doing too much out there, it's a bad day. Like I remember, because it's always in the beginning of our year, and I always have all of this ambition and all of this curiosity about my swing during the winter, and like that's my first real big round of the year is playing out at Pebble Beach. And I'm always thinking about, like right now, I got the shallow shot, all the shit. And I'm thinking about it. And I know when I get up to that first tee, it's like, God, there's no way you're committing to something that's not ingrained in my brain right now. Like it's got to be something that, that's why. I mean, you know what though? Maybe this year I'm just going to say, F it. And I'm going to say, I'm just hitting it the way you're supposed to hit it and however it goes. And you know what? That might be the first year I finally hit the green on 7. I have to hit the green this year. What are the over-unders on me hit? I mean, the odds have to be minus 385 that I hit this green this year. It has to be
385.
Dude, it's a 54 degree.
That's an incredible number for a guy who's never hit the green.
Dude,
it's got to be even money, Frankie. It's got to be even money. I mean,
dude, I'm saying the shot is like a minus 500 shot to just hit the green. It's so easy. I understand that, like with my history, it would bring it back up to plus money. I get that. I'm trying to make the point where it's like the fact that every time I miss it, it's an underdog blowout story. It's like you can't believe I keep missing the green. It's like Vegas would never be able to pinpoint why I'm missing the green. So like each individual time they'd be like, well, no, he has to hit the green this time. He birdied 6 coming in. He's like, he's level par going into 7. There's no way he blades this into the ocean. And I do. So it's like, there's no rhyme or reason as to why I've been doing it. Dude, last time I hit a 54 degree to like 4 feet on 6. And then the next hole, I duffed it 7 feet in front of the tee box. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? What it is, man.
And I think the weather's supposed to be good all weekend. So that
looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good. So I think you're
crossed.
set there. So just 54 degree, put it in the middle of the green. Minus 385 is fucking crazy. But
it's even money, dude. It's got to be closer to even money. But I think you're going to do it this year. I think you're going to play well. I think the weather's going to be warmer than usual. I don't see any wind emojis yet. It's we're on the ocean, so anything could happen. But
yeah.
I can't believe we're going to be there. I'm very, 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 very excited for this trip. It's going to be absolutely incredible. A couple other things to address really quickly. Bryson DeChambeau, a little interesting tidbit from this guy, Reed Dickens, who is the owner and CEO of LA Golf, which is like a golf shaft company. Bryson, I believe when he won the 2020 U.S. Open at Winged Foot, all 14 clubs in his bag were from LA Golf. And they just announced that they split, which was sort of a shocking thing. This guy had some great comments. He goes, Bryson and I actually have some of the same tendencies, and I have nothing but respect for him. Dickens said during a 90-minute interview, you could not miss on intensiveness in Dickens that brought to mind DeChambeau. Dickens is a long-hitting 10 handicap golfer at Bel Air Country Club in L.A. and a scratch talker up and down Southern California's 405 freeway. He goes on, but he has this new consultant, a McKinsey consulting type guy, and this guy says to me that Bryson is going to walk unless he gets 51%. Bryson's got 2% of the company. And I think the guy doesn't realize that he's dealing with a redneck. So I said, there's no path for that. They played chicken with me, and now we're going to graciously part ways.
Whoa. Wow. There were definitely some interesting discussions while all of this went down. And I think Bryson's a very opinionated guy. his relationship with companies, the companies that he works with or that he's signed to, historically have been a little rough. Just because you can imagine Bryson in the room, like offering all these notes. He's
a lot to deal with.
A lot. And I think he would probably admit to that. And he wants things so precise and in such a way. And I mean, the 51% talk and the 2% talk, I don't even really know how that goes, but I could see how a relationship between Bryson and X company could fray just because he's such a active-minded, opinionated guy. You know what I mean?
Totally. He's impossible to work with, bro. I mean, that's you're trying to dancing around.
I'm dancing. I'm doing the tango.
He's impossible to work with. He probably knows that as well. I mean, it's amazing that he's kept like his team so tight with how analytical and how like crazy he is about his swing in terms of like his caddy and like his guys that he's always been with. We've known Bryson
cash those checks, boys. You know, boys and girls. Cash those checks, you know. It's like that's your money guy. That's your guy.
But he's not an easy guy to work with, and he would probably be the first person to admit that. I mean, he wants things his way. He's got his own kind of view, and people that like change the game, they have those types of brains, and he changed the game. You know, I mean, he came in swinging 1,000 miles an hour, hitting the ball like a freaking long drive contestant, and he made the game exciting. And he does all the, you know, he's got this insane following. And every YouTube drop is like the biggest freaking golf video that's ever been released. And like, he wants things his way. And if his companies aren't like aligning with what he's thinking or like giving him the right path to take over, because like, he's probably the kind of guy that's like, I'm not going to be anyone. I'm not going to be working for anyone. No one's gonna be my boss. Like, I have the brain. I have the one that has the vision. I'm the one that has a vision with all this. You have to let me kind of take the reins of this. He's going to part ways, and he's going to be stern on like what his beliefs are with that stuff. So I don't like blame Bryson. I don't blame any of the companies that work with him that probably like don't want to do it anymore. It's like, he's one of those guys, dude. It's like guys like this come around that like they can't work with anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they got to do their own thing.
Well, and to his credit, it has largely worked. Like, if he weren't successful, if he hadn't won a couple US Opens, if he hadn't changed the game, hadn't done XYZ, people wouldn't listen to him. But what he does works, and he's very successful, both at the professional level and at the YouTube level. Pretty much everything that he touches does well. So I can see him having an attitude of like, I know what works, you guys don't. And that pisses
like,
a lot of people off.
It's not to compare him at all, but it's like Dave like runs Barstool. Like, no one tells Dave what to do. It's like every decision that he makes, he knows is the right one for his company. Like, Bryson knows like his brand and his game and like everything for his career. He's the only one that's going to have the right say and all of that stuff. So it's just it's a product of success. Like, if you earn it, if you earn that right to be able to be, it's not a dick, but like be the leader and controller of all of this stuff, then like, you know, good on you. You've made it there. You earned it.
It is a little different to be like, yeah, I'm going to be really, I'm going to have a lot of input on the direction of like the shafts that I use, and try to have some like creative input and be like, give me the majority stake of the company or I'm out. It's
fair.
Like,
I know.
You got to be able to work with people at some point. But I'm with you. I don't think that it's like a shock to the world that Bryson is basically impossible to deal with. I think that this Reed Dickens also had another comment where he was like, Bryson, when you work with him, will challenge you and all of your people on every single thing that you do. And he's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a lot, which I can understand.
Totally.
It was what was it? The Cobra breakup? Is that who it was? The Cobra driver?
Yep.
When the guy was like, Bryson was like, they just can't get me a driver that works. And the guy was like, I mean, what do you mean we can't get you a driver?
Tried everything.
That's all we've done is get you drivers. You won US Opens. Like, how is that possible? So yeah, I mean, you're just going to get this stuff with Bryson, but it's working for Bryson. I mean, the guy's unimaginably rich, successful, multiple-time major champion. He was the biggest hit at the Ryder Cup on the United States side. I mean, when he hit that first tee shot for USA, we were talking about it as like the most hyped single golf shot in the history of the game. So it's clearly working for Bryson. It just might not work all the time where you're able to partner with.
He's also probably like, I'm putting in all this work for your company. Like, I want to make the money now. Like, if I'm going to make your shafts better and like I'm going to be the guy, like I want to own it. You know?
Yeah, right.
Or he has like the idea that he's gonna make his own shafts or something. You know, he's probably going for broke.
Watching YouTube swing tips isn't necessarily always going to fix your game. A good amount of conversation on this show about Butch Harmon, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose going through a swing tip. We get so into it. We end up in like 10, 15-minute discussion about swing tips, swing thoughts, swing changes that we're trying to make, that we want to make, how excited we are going into this year. That is why we've teamed up with Skills. Skills is so good with training aids and all kinds of different stuff, especially now in sports. That's why we teamed up with them. Barstool Golf Skills. They got very cool designs. We kind of co-branded them with our logo. We're all trying to play better golf. We talk quite a bit about our trip to Pebble Beach this weekend. There's nothing cooler in the world than going to a place like Pebble Beach and playing solid golf. The Skills training aids are going to help you do that.
Yeah, it's I actually didn't even know that we were talking about them on the show when I brought out. I don't know if this part of the show has already happened or not, but I end up talking about this training aid that got sent to me, and it's something that I've really wanted for my own game, and they made it. They made it, they customized it, and it's going to be on sale. It's been a great partnership with Skills, and it's stuff, and you'll hear us talk about it on the show, like how interesting it can be to you squeeze something like this and it just gets you into the right position, and then everything else kind of falls into place. The best pros in the world, the best teaching pros in the world, all these guys use these what you would think are gimmicky tools and training aids, and they really do help. Like, our brains need something to tell us this is how we do it, because it's too hard of a game, it's too difficult of a swing to just do on your own. You just got to figure out the right way to do it, and Skills definitely gets you there in an easier way.
Yeah, our co-branded line, they got plenty of tools to help you break whatever number that is. You might be trying to break whatever, if it's a member guest, if it's playing in the Barstool Classic, if it's going out on Saturday with your group and trying to shoot your career low or just win your 4-ball match, whatever it might be, they're going to help you do it with Skills, including a bunch of our favorites, the hinge trainer, swing guide trainer, chipping net, putting mat, the putting mirror is awesome. So make sure you head to golfgalaxy.com/Barstool, or you head to a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport or Golf Galaxy location near you. That is Foreplay and Skills. Train smarter, play better. Last thing I think we got to do a little closest to the pin.
All right.
Who's
bringing
closest to the pin action?
I don't have it.
Oh, I have it. Sorry.
Let's go, Richson.
Brian Richards got it.
Very interested to see the answers on this one, because I actually only remember the State of the Union question, so I don't remember. Oh, the other one was the collective score on that Riviera hole. Let's go! Yeah. I can't wait to hear that. Let's go.
And final score of the Genesis, or final end number for the winner, and then
winning score.
Yeah, winning score. There you go. Searching for the words. And then the total goals scored in the men's hockey gold medal game. So
all right.
We'll go through those. So the current standings are: Trent leads with 10, Frankie has 8, and Riggs and I have 4.
God, that was a bad week last week, Rich.
Yeah, we're down at the bottom, but we'll see how it shakes out after this. All right, so
suck at this game.
The combined score to par for the featured group at Riviera on the 10th hole on Friday, and that was Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, and Tommy Fleetwood. Rory went par, Colin went par, and Tommy Fleetwood went birdie, so that was -1. So all 3 of you guys got a point because Riggs and Trent said -2 and Frankie said even. So you guys were both one off. So
damn.
1 point for everyone.
Right.
I went -3, so not close.
Okay.
That hurts, Ryan Richardson. That hurts.
I love staying even. When I'm at the top, I'm good with even.
I know. I know.
Next, we had the final score of the winning score of the Genesis Invitational. Jacob Bridgman won at 18 under, and Frankie got 2 points there. He guessed it on the dot.
Come on! Wow!
Come on!
Wow.
Riggs had 15, Trent had 19, and I had -22. I will admit, I felt pretty good going into Sunday.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
He faltered. He came back to earth a little bit.
Damn, I was one off. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And next we have the length of Donald Trump's State of the Union address. He set a record for the longest one ever at 1 hour and 48 minutes, breaking his own record. So I got the point there. I went an hour and 33. I was the closest one. And you guys were all hour 29 for Riggs, Frankie, hour 22, Trent, hour 11. So I knew he was going to go long, man.
That was stupid.
Well, there was
on my
reports
part.
that he was going over 2 hours, and once I saw that, I'm like, I lost a point there.
Yeah.
He was never going to go close to an hour at that point.
I think he was feeling himself after the USA gold medal and all that,
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I also didn't anticipate the USA getting 20 minutes because I didn't think that, you didn't know if they were going to win. There was a lot of stuff that happened since we recorded this podcast, but
a bunch.
That's true.
But yeah, all right. So you got a point there, Rich. I'm actually going to take that because if Trent doesn't get one or if Riggs didn't get one, you're at the bottom. I'll take that. That's going nowhere.
So final was total goal scored in the the men's hockey gold medal game. And Riggs said 7, Trent said 6, Frankie said 5, and I said 3. So I got the 2 points there with the 2-1 final score. So big move for me. Yep.
God, welcome to last place, you fucking loser,
Richardson
Riggs.
with a huge week of 3 points.
Oh yeah. So it's Trent 11, Frankie 11, me 7, Riggs 5.
Wow. Let's go.
Yeah, I bet it is. Let's move on, Ryan Richard.
I gotta step my game up.
God,
keep the tie with Frankie.
Back in the game.
Go.
All right, so that brings us to this week.
Yep.
So we have the, make sure I pronounce this right, the Cognizant Classic, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So
formerly the old Honda Classic.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is obviously two of the biggest returns in golf this year have been Brooks Koepka and Will Zalatoris. They will both be playing in the same group the first 2 days. So the first one is the combined score to par of Brooks and Will Zalatoris over the first 2 rounds. So they're both 1 for 2 on made cuts in 2026. Brooks best finish was -2, and Willie Z had a -8. So combined score to par on Friday of the Cognizant Classic for those
on
2.
Friday. Okay.
Oh no, sorry, for the first 2 rounds. Sorry,
first 2 rounds.
Oh, first 2 rounds.
Yeah, my bad. I mixed in the next question with this one, but no.
Richard, can you repeat all this for me?
Were you listening?
I was, but we also our teaser just went out, so I saw that Kyle Timms has been all over my freaking asshole.
Yeah, I got you. So Brooks Koepka and Will Zalatoris are playing in the same group of the Cognizant Classic, and we're looking for the combined score over the first 2 rounds for those two.
Got it.
All right, so the answers are in. Riggs went -5, Frankie -6, and Trent and I -7.
Okay.
Whoa.
Bunched up group there.
That's bunched up. Okay.
All right. Second one from the Cognizant Classic. The last two guests on our podcast that were PGA Tour players were Neil Shipley and Joel Damon. They both produced fantastic clips for us, so shout out to those guys.
Out to those guys.
Yeah. We're looking for the combined amount of birdies from those two on Friday of the Cognizant Classic.
Combined amount of birdies from Neil Shipley and Joel Damon Friday at the Cognizant Classic. Okay, hold on.
Come on, man. Just be right about something. Fuck.
All right, so Riggs and I both said 9. Frankie said 7, and Trent said 5.
Put me in a position to root against those guys, which I don't like, but
all right,
I hope they get a bunch of eagles.
This one's a little unique. So we're looking for the amount of points scored by USA hockey players in their team's first game back from the Olympic break. So not their first game back, their team's first game back. So
just building yourself a lot of work, my man. I like it.
Yeah. So
is that all 25 players, even the guys that didn't?
22, because I don't think the goalies don't get points, right? I'm not a hockey guy.
Well, they could. You never know.
Theoretically. Okay.
How does a goalie get? They can just score?
They can get an assist.
If you make a save,
they get an assist, and they can score.
If you make a save and the guy if you make a save, catch it, drop the puck to the left, guy takes it, goes end to end, it's an assist for the goalie.
Okay.
Those guys, they'll also dump the puck in, and the goalie will get the puck behind the net or over the corner and pass it to their D. Their D could pass it to a forward, and the forward scores.
They get a lot of points. Not a lot, but it's common.
That's good to know. So I'll keep an eye out for that. So 25 players, I guess, 22 position players. So like I said, it's their team's first game back. Right. So I think I saw Austin Matthews. No, it's the USA.
Oh, just the USA. Sorry.
I think I saw Austin Matthews is going to play, but I'm assuming a lot of them will be playing. So the total points scored from USA hockey players and their team's first game back.
This
be a little hungover.
This is going to be the one I'm the most off on in a long time.
We all could be, honestly.
Like
there's like a 10.
I really don't even know. Okay.
This is the Trotty answer. Remember Trotty? What did he guess? Like,
I think we did like assists and points for Caitlin Clark, and he said 380 or something.
All right, lads. I didn't know.
All right, lads.
All right, so the answers are in.
This one's tough, dude, because if you look at each individual player, I would bet that they're close to they're either minus money or even money to like get a point that night. Each guy. But then if you're talking to me about like a 20 guy parlay of everyone getting a point, it's got to be the odds of that would be astronomical, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say on this one. This is a really hard answer.
Yeah. Maybe some hangovers too, a little 2-day hangover for the guys. You never know.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Riggs went 12. I went 7. Frankie went 17, and Trent went 14.
Okay. I feel great about my
Okay,
answer.
I like it.
I went way too high, man.
I'm just glad I'm
gap
in the
there.
mix. Like, as long as I didn't say like 48
I just
or
need
something.
like 10 of the guys to get multi-point games somehow. Or like, you know what I mean? Like just like
yeah.
I wonder how many guys won't play. I saw Austin Matthews isn't going to play.
I'll be
but
stunned. I think it's kind of a bad look if like the guys that were at like the State of the Union like don't play, but maybe
Yeah, I
they
agree.
get benched by their coaches. You never know. I mean, I could be in real trouble here.
yeah.
Okay. Good one.
So the final one is near and dear to my heart. This weekend is the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine at my old job. I used to work in NFL media, for those that don't know. It's kind of like the culmination for NFL media. Everyone goes to the Combine. It's like coaches, players, media members. It's quite the week out in Indianapolis. So obviously the biggest event there is the 40-yard dash. So I'm looking for the fastest 40-yard dash time at the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine. For reference, the fastest one ever is 4.21 seconds by Xavier Worthy in 2024. And the fastest last year was 4.28 seconds by Maxwell Hairston. So the fastest 40-yard dash at the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, say that again. I was I had a little something come up that I had to deal with.
Fastest 40-yard dash time this year at the Combine. Last year, the fastest one ever is 4.21.
Yep.
Oh,
and
boy.
the fastest one last year is 4.28.
Oh boy. Okay. This is what Rory's talking about, man. Like this, just the NFL, they just drip it out all the time. There's always something going on.
Right.
All right, here we go. Frankie went with 4.20, so that would be a new record for the fastest one ever. I like that.
Attaboy, Frankie.
Thank you.
Trent went 4.26. I went 4.25, and Riggs went 4.23. So we're all punched up there. Gonna see some fast guys run.
I love it.
I really needed that example out of you because that could have been a real embarrassing moment for me. I would have had, I could have said like 10 seconds. I would have had no clue.
5 seconds or something like that.
All right. Those are good ones.
Fantastic. Yeah, close to the pin. Always gets the juices flowing over here.
Always gets him going. Always gets him
What
going.
else was I
Rooting
gonna
for Willie
say?
Z. Willie Z's had a couple tournaments back. I know you had him in one of the closest to the pin, but he finished tied for 18th at the Amex. He missed the cut at Torrey. He's obviously coming off more injuries. So I love seeing these guys. Brooks coming back, JT coming back. This is Willie Z coming back. This is a big week for those guys because, a lot of the top dogs aren't playing this week. So those guys are all in the field. It's nice. Well, JT's not in the field, but he'll be in the field next week.
Yep, we're back in the swing of things here. Big tournaments coming up. We're playing a big golf course. Golf season is officially here for foreplay.
Yeah.
I know Riggs been playing all year in Arizona, but for us,
I took it's not the longest stretch, but I took like 3 weeks really where I didn't really play. I didn't really hit any balls. I had like
there you go.
a couple fuck around rounds where we did like some scrambles and stuff, but I was trying to get away from it. I had a bad stretch at the end of last year, early this year, where I went out and I just wasn't into it for the first time in my life, which I just was out there and was like, this is just a little too much. I need to get away from this shit. And then we had the Phoenix Open. So during that stretch, like that 3-week stretch, I maybe played 2 rounds and none of them were where I played my own ball. We're just out there having drinks and fucking around. So again, it's not the longest break for you guys that are under 10 feet of snow, but for me, I'm with you. I'm feeling refreshed, rejuvenated. I got my lesson in. I'm filming a match today that's going to go out on YouTube. I filmed a couple 9 and 90s the last couple of days. So I'm feeling refreshed about golf.
Dude, I was going to do something crazy. I was going to bring my stick out there and film a 9 and 90 at Pebble Beach.
I don't think it's crazy. I was reminded last night at times, and it was a combination of me having a couple bad holes. I was reminded of how annoying it can be. Now, I do think that's a little bit, it gets exaggerated when you're out there alone because of how much just faster you could be moving. When you're actually doing it with the foursome, I think it's more reasonable because while other people are hitting, you have the time to set stuff up and set up your tripod and everything. When I was out there alone, I was just annoyed at dude, I would do the thing where I would have, let's say, a 20-foot putt, and then instead of putting it to gimme range, I would putt it to 5 feet, and I would have to go back, get the tripod out of the ground, also grab like my wedge and my putter head cover, move all that stuff over to like the new putt, which is only a 4 or 5 foot putt, set all of it up to where like the angle's right and set all the other shit down and get the product out and then like record that 4 foot putt. And I was just thinking in that moment, I was like, people probably don't understand and they never will. And it's annoying to bitch about, but just how annoying it is for me just to hit this next 4 foot putt, that there's like a lot going on. But I was thinking the same because I think we're going to play a little entry round at Spanish Bay. I don't think we're going to get all 18 holes in, but I was thinking about bringing my stick and filming the front 9 at Spanish Bay tomorrow as well.
Yeah, there's just like something like hit like a pebble back to back would just hit like fucking crack, man.
Even if you just
no disrespect
did the
to Jersey
front,
Jerry, but like would absolutely hit like crack.
Yeah.
you should definitely bring the stick just in case.
I'm bringing it. Do we have a caddy out there? I think it's way easier. I think when I hit my shot, I'm just like walking with my stick. He like takes the bag and like it's like at my. By the time I get up to my ball, the bag's already there. So like before I get there, I just like set up my stick. I mean, I think with a caddy, it's literally the easiest way you could do it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So
and I'm gonna get a new phone today, and like I know that's gonna go super impossibly like hard and difficult and transferring everything over. But like new phone, fresh. I might even take the plastic off before Pebble. Like just rip that plastic off the camera as I get there. Yeah, just freshies, just fresh lenses, dude.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm excited. I
think it's gonna help a lot that we're gonna have good weather. That's gonna be huge.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So, all right, boys. One of those days, man. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
I've had my mother-in-law watching Frankie Boy downstairs. It's like one of those days. My wife's at work, and like I just had to have her come here in the snow. He can't come do the podcast with us yet.
I know. At some point, we're gonna have to get him a mic, and like he's gonna start
just chill.
Yeah,
chill right there. I actually yesterday I went to the ENT. I went to the ENT on Thursday and then on Tuesday. Thursday was just a checkup because I have like a little bit of hearing loss, overexposure to sound, like playing drums my whole life. I have like a little dip when you do the test, like it's in my right ear. I could just when someone like when baby Frankie screams in my ear and talks, like it just sends a shiver down my throat, my spine sometimes because like I just got like sensitivity in there. So I like wanted to get checked to make sure I'm not going freaking deaf. And they're like, it's okay. Like you haven't gone below where your baseline is, which is fine. I'm not officially at like hearing loss yet, which is good. But anyway, we do so much pop punk and we go to so many like loud places for, Daytona 500. If we go to Formula One with Adidas this year or something like that, like I just like want to have something that I know is like form fitting to my ear. So I went on Thursday. They couldn't do the form fitting thing. So you have to come back Tuesday. So I went yesterday. Dude, this process of getting like a mold in your ear was the most satisfying thing I've ever been a part of, dude.
Really?
Bro, you have this technician like puts a little thing in your ear all the way in and it like touches your freaking eardrum, but like it's basically so that no gook goes in there. So you go on both ears. So now you're sitting there and you're talking to them and then like you bite on this little thing so that your jaw's open, which was really interesting because when you're singing or when you're talking, it has to mold to like when your jaw opens and closes, the inside of your ear canal. They want to go for like the highest point or like the most wide open point. Anyway, they fill you up with this like syringe of just like gel. And that process of it, like that cold gel going in your ear and you feel it kind of getting filled up. And then like everything outside goes from like loud to just quiet. And then it hardens and then they pull it out, dude. Oh, I damn near moaned in this dude. Think about the most incredible feeling you've had when you do like a nice Q-tip, which I know you're not supposed to do, but like it hits that freaking spot in there. Dude, this was like a slow pull out of just like, who knows what it pulled out with it. But like, I had these 2 female technicians doing it and I was like, oh, like I was like, and I said to them, like, I'm sorry. Like, I literally asked them, like, do people like moan when that happens? I mean, that's crazy. I said, that was a crazy experience. They're like, oh yeah. She's like, you wouldn't believe some of the shit you wouldn't believe some of the things he's got. Like, it's crazy. It's an insane feeling. And all to get like headphones that fit me. It was nuts.
Damn.
Anyway,
that sounds incredible. I want that experience.
That is incredible. I know.
It's a great experience. Damn. Anyway, so.
Wow.
It makes me think of like a Q-tip experience, when you really get like a nice Q-tip experience.
Right. I use Q-tip. I know you're not supposed to. I use them every single day.
They say it's so bad, but I know everyone uses them.
If they were so that risky, bad, they would have like pulled them off the market. No,
I agree.
I think the only ones pushing is these ENTs, but like, I don't know. She showed me a thing on it where like they have like the ear canal on the wall. And she's like, picture this gook, and like you're just pushing it deeper and deeper and deeper in, and like it gets in and it goes away, but like now it's in your ear canal. Like
I think
good.
Big ENT is trying to like kneecap the
what you
Q-tip
need
market.
to get though, and what I got was that scooper that has the camera on it.
You got a
get it on
thing
Amazon.
that you put in your ear with a camera?
Dude, they have a thing. It's got a little scooper at the end of it. And it's got a camera attached to your phone. It's an app. Dude, this thing's like not that expensive. It's a little Q-tip, and it's got a hook. And on the hook is a mini camera, like a pinhole. And you put it in your ear, and you see all your ear hair and all the wax and everything. But dude, you just like you go like instead of pushing it in, you're like grabbing it with the hook and you're pulling it out. And then you put it on a little napkin, you clean it.
It's like a Mars expedition that you're doing inside your own head every day.
Dude, it is so fucking
insanity.
It's so fucking satisfying.
Drop me a link,
but they
brother.
say that's bad. Like all that stuff like catches debris and dust and stops it from going to your eyes and your brain. And
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Drop me a
I
link,
like that
brother.
stuff in there, but I'm sure it's very, very satisfying.
Camera, like ear hole thing, whatever.
All right.
Is what it is, bro.
Is what it is.
So
Is what it is. All right. I'll see you guys in Monterey, California. I know we've talked about the weather a bunch. Fingers crossed. We've had some dicey days out there. We've had some great days out there. Looks like it's going to be warm. Looks like it's going to be partly cloudy, partly sunny, which is a dream out there. So incredibly excited to see our boy Josh Isner, Lurch, my brother Kyle, the whole crew. It's a great crew. We have a ton of fun. It's the coolest trip ever, so I'm sure we'll talk about it. We got a big week next week as well coming up, so we're going to talk about all that. Very excited for that. And then Players Championships the following week. So like Frankie said off the top, we're just rolling. 4 plays into golf, golf's into golf. Things are happening. So enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll probably be posting a bunch of social stuff as we're out enjoying Pebble. It's impossible not to, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Riggs, I would say real quick, I mean, you mentioned it, but like just to tease people a bit, I think next week's probably like the most, like one of the biggest weeks in foreplay history, I would say.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yes.
We have an announcement coming next week at some point. That's probably the biggest announcement for like this group I mean, it's hard to pinpoint. We've had a lot of big announcements. This is up there, man. If we're doing lists, this is top 3.
Yeah, I would say it's one of if not the biggest announcement for the week to week operations and product of what we put out. I would say.
So whoever stuck around for 2 hours here on the pod, you just got a nice little tease.
Yeah,
you did get a nice little tease. Yeah, and Ryan Richard, don't clip that. I want that to be a little almost Easter egg that you had to really earn it, right? When we used to test if Matthew Fitzpatrick was listening to the show, and we just say a weird word at the end of the show, which I don't think he listens anymore.
We give him a color,
and even more so. So I already said comment your best stretches, 3-hole stretches of golf. Now comment that you were here for the tease. You're getting teased. We're teasing you off. We're edging you a little bit audio wise. And I want you to comment on the YouTube. Let's get these comments up. We got to get the comments up on YouTube. Comment that you've been here, that you've been staying here. You'll always be here.
Yep.
I like it. Thank you to Ryan Richard. Thank you to our partners. As always, thank you to all of our listeners. Have a great weekend. I know we're going to, and get ready for a big week next week on Foreplay. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.